Holding on is what breaks most people. They grip tightly to pain, to control, to the illusion that things should have gone differently. And in doing so, they drain their peace, their energy, and their ability to move forward. The harsh truth is this: letting go isn't weakness, it's survival. But don't worry, this is about to change your life. These next 3 hours aren't just soft words in the background. They're a quiet guide out of the mental grip that's been holding you back. Stoic wisdom was never about denial. It was about release. Releasing what isn't yours to carry. Releasing what's already gone. Releasing the need to control what was never in your hands to begin with. As you drift into sleep, these ancient teachings will start to loosen the grip. They'll remind you that peace is not found in what you hold on to, but in what you're finally brave enough to release. No more rehearsing past conversations. No more bargaining with what could have been. Just a slow, powerful return to presence, where nothing is missing and everything begins again. So rest now. Let the night carry away what's no longer meant for you. And when you wake, you won't just feel lighter. You'll feel free. If you're ready to release what's been weighing you down, comment below, "I am ready to let go." Imagine being able to stay calm and collected in the middle of a traffic jam, facing a difficult conversation with your boss, or even dealing with a personal crisis. This is the power of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that has helped people for centuries to live happier and more fulfilling lives. Stoicism teaches us that the only thing we can truly control is our own thoughts and actions. Everything else, from the weather to the economy to the behavior of others, is outside of our control. By accepting this reality, we can free ourselves from the anxiety and frustration that comes from trying to control things that are outside of our reach. Stoicism also teaches us to focus on what we can control, which is our own character and our actions. By striving to live a virtuous life, we can create a sense of inner peace and contentment that is not dependent on external circumstances. In this video, we'll explore 10 profound lessons from Stoicism that can help you achieve inner peace and mastery over your emotions. Join us on this journey of self-discovery as we explore the ancient wisdom of Stoicism and learn how to apply it to our modern lives. Lesson number 1. Embrace what you can control. Epictetus, the Stoic sage, offers us a fundamental lesson that serves as the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, the dichotomy of control. At the heart of this teaching is the recognition that our lives are subject to a fundamental division between elements we can control and those beyond our influence. This concept is pivotal in cultivating a calm and composed demeanor, even in the midst of life's uncertainties. In essence, Epictetus advises us to invest our energy and attention in those aspects of life that fall within our sphere of control. These include our thoughts, actions, intentions, and responses. By directing our focus to what is genuinely within our power, we can navigate life with a sense of purpose and mastery. It is the acknowledgement that our internal world is under our dominion that forms the bedrock of our tranquility. Conversely, external events and circumstances, which often elude our sway, are to be acknowledged as outside the realm of our control. Just as an archer, as exemplified by Epictetus, can aim carefully, draw the bowstring with precision, and release the arrow skillfully, yet remain uncertain of the flight's outcome, we must learn to release our attachment to outcomes we cannot govern. This release is not an act of resignation, but an embrace of equanimity in the face of life's inherent unpredictability. Epictetus's metaphor of the archer, who derives contentment from knowing they've exerted their best effort regardless of the target's fate, serves as a potent reminder of the Stoic approach to life. It encourages us to concentrate on our intentions and the dedicated efforts we put forth, accepting that the results are subject to a multitude of external factors. In essence, Stoicism reminds us to seize the reins of our inner world, embracing the dichotomy of control as a powerful tool to maintain a calm and composed disposition in a world where much remains beyond our influence. By concentrating our energies on what we can shape, we free ourselves from the burden of attempting to govern the uncontrollable, allowing us to discover serenity in the knowledge that we've done our utmost with the tools at our disposal. Lesson number 2. The power of acceptance. In the grand tapestry of Stoic philosophy, few figures stand as tall as the Roman emperor and philosopher Marcus Aurelius. His profound insights, often chiseled in the timeless monument of Meditations, resonate through the ages and illuminate one of the most powerful lessons in Stoicism, the lesson of acceptance. Marcus Aurelius guides us through a profound exploration of the human condition, acknowledging the inevitability of both triumph and tribulation. Life, as he observes, is a symphony of ups and downs, a constant ebb and flow. Within this ever-shifting landscape, there exist circumstances beyond our influence, elements we cannot control. Marcus Aurelius, in his role as a Stoic sage, extols the virtue of accepting these immutable truths. To accept, in the Stoic sense, is to embrace the reality of life's unpredictability and impermanence. It is to release the chains of attachment to specific outcomes and to walk in harmony with the unceasing rhythm of the universe. In Marcus Aurelius's words, resistance to the natural course of events leads only to turmoil and distress, like a ship struggling against the relentless current. The Stoic perspective on acceptance is akin to setting sail on the sea of existence without a fixed destination, yet with an unwavering faith in the voyage itself. It is an invitation to relinquish the desire for unyielding control and instead flow with the ever-changing stream of life. To dance with the music of the cosmos, whether its notes are serene or tempestuous, is the embodiment of Stoic temperance. In the realm of Stoicism, this lesson forms the bedrock of inner peace and tranquility. It urges us to open our arms to life's capriciousness, to savor the sweetness of success, and to weather the storms of adversity with grace. The power of acceptance, as illuminated by Marcus Aurelius, is a beacon that guides us through the labyrinth of existence, allowing us to greet each moment, each circumstance, with an equanimous heart. It is the serenity of embracing life in all its unpredictability, finding profound serenity in the midst of its ever-shifting landscape. Lesson number 3. Practice mindfulness. Practice mindfulness. Seneca, the venerable Stoic philosopher whose wisdom has transcended the ages, illuminates a crucial lesson for those seeking calm and composure in the midst of life's tempests. The practice of mindfulness. In the Stoic lexicon, mindfulness is a compass guiding us to the shores of the present moment, offering sanctuary from the ceaseless turbulence of past regrets and future uncertainties. In its essence, mindfulness is the art of inhabiting the now, of immersing oneself in the present moment with profound awareness. It is the antidote to the affliction of rumination, the ceaseless churning of the mind over past sorrows and future anxieties. Seneca's Stoic teachings beckon us to pay homage to the beauty and profundity of the present, recognizing that it is the only time that holds genuine existence. The practice of mindfulness, as outlined by Seneca, is not confined to the extraordinary moments of life, but extends its embrace to the ordinary and mundane. It encourages us to witness life's tapestry with a keen eye, from the remarkable to the seemingly inconsequential. In doing so, we detach ourselves from the tormenting clutches of regret and the paralyzing grip of worry. This Stoic mindfulness, a precious tool for preserving inner calm and clarity, acts as a bridge to the precious now, connecting us to the profound simplicity of the present. It is an art that grants us the ability to fully engage with our current circumstances, to savor each breath, and to relish the beauty that unfolds in every heartbeat. In the practice of mindfulness, we discover a timeless sanctuary where the mind finds solace, a place where inner tranquility is nurtured and composure is cultivated amidst the swirling tides of existence. Lesson number 4. Cultivate resilience. Resilience. In the vast landscape of Stoic wisdom, the lessons of resilience echo as a resounding anthem, and it is Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher par excellence, who raises his voice to teach us the profound art of confronting adversity with unwavering fortitude. To Epictetus, adversity is not a foe to be feared, but a chisel that sculpts the masterpiece of our character. Stoicism, with its roots deep in the natural order of life, imparts the fundamental truth that challenges are the warp and weft of existence. Stoics, embodying this wisdom, do not perceive adversity as an obstacle or a source of suffering, but rather as an opportunity, a crucible that tempers and refines their inner metal. Epictetus beckons us not to wilt before the storms of life, but to stand steadfast like the unyielding oak, unshaken by the tempest. The essence of this Stoic perspective lies in the profound realization that it is not the events themselves, but our judgments, reactions, and the choices we make in the face of adversity that hold the power to distress us. It is the lens through which we view life's trials that shapes our inner tranquility. To cultivate resilience in the Stoic vein is to walk the path of personal development, and to recognize adversity not as a scourge, but as a tutor. Stoicism teaches us that in the crucible of hardship, we discover the true extent of our strength, and it is through facing life's tribulations with courage and unwavering resilience that we emerge like tempered steel, with a character fortified by the trials we have endured. The Stoic perspective on adversity harmonizes seamlessly with the Stoic belief in the sovereignty of choice. Epictetus, in his sagacity, urges us to confront challenges not with trepidation, but with the valor of a warrior, for it is through our responses to external events that we preserve the sanctity of our inner calm and composure. It is the gift of resilience that allows Stoics to navigate life's tempestuous seas with an unswerving gaze, unwavering even in the face of the most turbulent storms. Lesson number 5. Choose your response. Choose your response. Epictetus, the venerable Stoic sage whose wisdom has traversed the annals of time, bequeaths to us a profound lesson of immeasurable value, the power of choice in our responses. Within the Stoic philosophy, this lesson stands as an indomitable pillar, a lighthouse guiding us through the tumultuous seas of existence. Epictetus, with unwavering conviction, imparts the truth that while the tides of external events may remain beyond our dominion, the helm of our responses is firmly within our grasp. This, he proclaims, is the essence of Stoic wisdom. In the Stoic sanctum, wherein calm and composure reign supreme, the locus of control is resolutely internal. Stoicism, a philosophy grounded in profound self-mastery, extols the sovereignty of our responses to life's multifarious challenges. It is in this sacred space that the Stoic virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance serve as guiding stars, illuminating the path to maintaining inner tranquility. Epictetus, with his sage counsel, invites us to contemplate the nature of our judgments and reactions, particularly in the crucible of adversity. It is through this introspection that we awaken to the profound truth that we possess the sacred gift of choice, the ability to consciously craft our responses to the myriad external events that unfold in our lives. The Stoic approach to responding sagely to life's vicissitudes is akin to a masterstroke on the canvas of existence. It is the choice to align our responses with the Stoic virtues, to confront life's tribulations with the wisdom of sages, the courage of heroes, the justice of righteous hearts, and the temperance of those who tread the path of inner mastery. The Stoic's arsenal, laden with the wisdom of Epictetus, is a bastion of inner peace, impervious even to the fiercest storms. Through conscious choice and alignment with Stoic virtues, we forge a shield that preserves our serenity in the face of adversity. It is the Stoic's clarion call to navigate the labyrinthian corridors of life with grace and resilience, for in the crucible of conscious choice, we find the crucible of enduring inner peace. Lesson number 6. Limit excessive desires. In the illustrious tapestry of Stoic wisdom, woven with threads of reason and virtue, Seneca's counsel on the Stoic principle of moderation stands as a masterpiece in itself. A sage known for his profound philosophical essays on virtue and personal development, Seneca extends to us a lesson of paramount importance, a lesson that beckons us to curb the tempestuous desires that often threaten to engulf our inner calm. At the heart of Stoicism lies the belief that excessive desires, like turbulent seas, have the power to cast our lives adrift, leaving us in a perpetual state of turmoil and discontent. The Stoic sages, in their unwavering pursuit of inner tranquility, recognized the perils of unbridled longing for wealth, status, and material possessions far beyond what is necessary for a life of virtue and wisdom. Seneca, echoing the Stoic sentiment, imparts his wisdom, rooted in the belief that authentic contentment finds its dwelling in the sanctuary of limited desires. It is a lesson that encourages us to navigate the labyrinthine corridors of existence with the rudder of moderation, guiding us toward the tranquil harbor of inner peace. The Stoic path, as illuminated by Seneca's wisdom, beckons us to simplify our desires, seeking only that which is requisite for a life marked by goodness and virtue. In this simplification, we unearth the precious gems of contentment and tranquility, independent of the capricious winds of external fortune. The Stoic practice of limiting excessive desires becomes the lodestar, ensuring the maintenance of a calm and composed disposition. It is within the walls of this ancient wisdom that we discover the profound truth that the fervent pursuit of external treasures is but a fleeting mirage, and the true treasures lie within, waiting to be unearthed. Seneca's teachings stand as an enduring testament to the Stoic commitment to inner mastery and the temperance of desires, forging a path that leads to the sacred sanctuary of inner calm. Lesson number 7. Be virtuous. The essence of Stoicism, as nurtured and cherished by the great Stoic philosophers like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, resides in the unwavering commitment to virtue, a commitment that lies at the very heart of this ancient philosophy. The Stoic virtues, comprising wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, become the compass guiding us toward a life marked by inner composure and tranquility. In the rich tapestry of Stoic wisdom, the virtues occupy a hallowed place, They are the moral lodestars that beckon us to navigate life's tempestuous seas with grace and wisdom. These virtues, etched into the annals of Stoic thought, are not mere abstractions. They are the pillars upon which the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with the natural order of the universe rests. Wisdom, the first of these virtues, serves as a beacon of light, illuminating the path of reason and discernment. It calls upon us to cultivate a deep understanding of the world and our place within it. The Stoic sages, such as Epictetus, understood that wisdom is the foundation upon which all other virtues are built. With wisdom as our guiding star, we gain the capacity to see the world as it truly is and to discern between the fleeting and the enduring. Courage, the second virtue, stands as the sentinel guarding the fortress of our moral character. It calls upon us to face life's challenges with steadfastness and resolve. In the Stoic lexicon, courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. It is the unwavering determination to confront adversity with inner fortitude. Seneca, through his teachings, extols the importance of courage in forging a character marked by resilience and unwavering resolve. Justice, the third virtue, extends its mantle of righteousness over the Stoic path. It beckons us to live in accordance with the principles of fairness and moral rightness. The Stoic philosophers, drawing inspiration from the wellsprings of justice, guide us toward making decisions that are rooted in equity and virtue. The pursuit of justice ensures that our actions align with the moral order of the universe, fostering inner tranquility and composure. Temperance, the final virtue, serves as the guardian of moderation and self-restraint. It reminds us to exercise control over our desires, for it is through temperance that we discover the gateway to true contentment. Seneca, in his philosophical essays, emphasizes the importance of simplifying our desires and seeking only that which is essential for a virtuous life. In the temperance of desires, we uncover the wellspring of inner calm, irrespective of external circumstances. These virtues, championed by various Stoic philosophers, converge to shape a life that exemplifies the Stoic ideal. They serve as the lodestar, guiding us through life's turbulent seas with grace, wisdom, and unshakable inner peace. By adhering to these virtues and allowing them to permeate our thoughts and actions, we maintain a calm and composed disposition, reflecting the Stoic commitment to inner harmony and ethical living. In the mosaic of Stoicism, the virtues are the vibrant colors that compose the image of a life lived in harmony with the eternal truth of the cosmos. Lesson number 8. Understand the transitory nature of life. The transitory nature of life, in the profound and timeless verses of his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, delves into the essence of life, a life imbued with transience. His teachings are a testament to the wisdom that accepting the ever-changing nature of existence is a cornerstone for maintaining a calm and composed demeanor. Through the lens of Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius imparts a lesson that is perhaps one of the most pivotal for achieving inner serenity. He invites us to embark on a philosophical journey that involves acknowledging the ephemeral and transient aspects of life. The Stoic recognition of this reality, often referred to as the transitory nature of life, is not a harbinger of despair. Rather, it serves as a cornerstone of strength that can lend profundity to our existence. The core of this lesson is the understanding that nothing in the realm of human experience, be it the moments of joy or the trials of adversity, is immutable. The universe, in its eternal ebb and flow, weaves a tapestry of constant change. The Stoic sage does not resist this cosmic dance, but chooses to waltz in harmony with it, with grace and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius urges us to unburden ourselves from the weight of attachments to those fleeting moments that shimmer like stars across the night sky, and to the material possessions that hold our attention for but a brief interlude. He teaches us to appreciate these moments and possessions as they come into our lives, but also to let them go when the time for departure arrives. In doing so, we unearth an inner sanctuary of calm and composure, impervious to the external tempests. Accepting the impermanence of all things, as championed by Marcus Aurelius, acts as a salve for the soul. It allows us to put into perspective the vicissitudes of life. It liberates us from the bondage of anxiety that stems from clutching onto what was or what might have been. Through this Stoic teaching, we become the architects of our inner fortitude, crafting a character marked by resilience in the face of life's inevitable changes. In understanding the transitory nature of life, we pave the way for a profound sense of inner tranquility. We recognize that our capacity for calm and composure transcends the rise and fall of external circumstances. It is an enduring presence, much like the stars that continue to shimmer in the night sky, irrespective of the fleeting clouds that pass before them. Marcus Aurelius, through his Stoic wisdom, invites us to bask in the light of this understanding, offering us the opportunity to savor life's moments while retaining an unwavering sense of inner peace. Lesson number 9. The value of gratitude. In the profound tapestry of Stoic philosophy, woven with threads of wisdom and resilience, there exists a gem that sparkles with profound insight: the value of gratitude. This lesson, championed by Seneca, one of Stoicism's eminent philosophers, illuminates the path to inner calm and contentment, irrespective of life's challenges. It guides us to celebrate not only life's triumphs, but also its tribulations, for it is through the lens of gratitude that we find serenity even in the face of adversity. Seneca, in his essays dedicated to the concept of gratitude, masterfully extolled its virtues. He beckoned us to redirect our gaze from what we may lack to what we have, to find solace in the present moment, and to embrace the treasures that often go unnoticed. In this Stoic practice, we unearth a potent tool for sustaining a profound sense of inner peace. The core of Seneca's teachings on gratitude is a gentle reminder that the act of being thankful is not contingent on the abundance of our possessions, but rather on our ability to perceive life's blessings in their myriad forms. In this sense, gratitude is not a mere response to life's easy moments, but a profound acknowledgement that even amidst the tempest's fury, there is a shelter of calm to be found. By cultivating a sense of gratitude, we recalibrate our relationship with life. We learn to see the splendor in the ordinary, the lesson within adversity, and the preciousness of every fleeting moment. Seneca encourages us to be content with the present, recognizing that the treasures of life are not commodities to be acquired, but experiences to be cherished. The value of gratitude, as illuminated by Seneca, acts as a guardian of our inner peace. It teaches us to ceaselessly reflect on the blessings that have graced our journey. In doing so, we discover that gratitude is an elixir that transmutes the base elements of despair and longing into the gold of contentment and serenity. In moments of challenge, a heart steeped in gratitude does not falter. It finds strength even in the midst of adversity, for it recognizes that the trials of life too are teachers. As Seneca would remind us, the Stoic spirit does not waver in the face of hardship. Instead, it flourishes, drawing nourishment from gratitude's deep well. In the Stoic tradition, the value of gratitude is an unwavering companion that ushers us towards a profound sense of tranquility. It elevates us above life's tempestuous waves, revealing the serenity that lies in embracing the blessings, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. With Seneca's wisdom, we come to realize that practicing gratitude is not a mere response to life's joys, but a steadfast embrace of the beauty found in life's most trying moments. With every breath, every heartbeat, and every fleeting moment, we are presented with opportunities to unearth the treasures of gratitude. Seneca's Stoic legacy beckons us to cherish the present, not in spite of life's challenges, but because of them, and to savor the beauty that surrounds us. It is in this luminous practice that we discover a profound sense of tranquility and calm, even amidst the tempests of existence. Lesson number 10. Keep learning and growing. In the profound tapestry of Stoicism, where wisdom is woven with threads of resilience and temperance, we find a radiant lesson that beckons us to embark on a lifelong journey of self-improvement. Epictetus, one of Stoicism's luminaries, stands as a steadfast guide in this pursuit, revealing that the path to inner calm and composure is paved with the stones of personal growth. The Stoic commitment to self-improvement is a recurring theme in the philosophy, finding resonance across different Stoic philosophers. Epictetus, in particular, carries the torch of this lesson with unwavering conviction. He invites us to tread a path of perpetual growth, emphasizing that this commitment is a treasure trove of wisdom that equips us to navigate life's challenges with grace and sagacity. At the heart of this Stoic doctrine lies a profound realization that life is an unceasing voyage. We are not static beings, but vessels of potential, forever capable of evolution. The commitment to lifelong learning and growth is an unyielding call to action, a reminder that no matter where we stand, there are yet horizons to explore and virtues to cultivate. The Stoic pursuit of self-improvement aligns harmoniously with the quest for wisdom and tranquility. It is an acknowledgement that inner calm and composure are not static attributes, but dynamic processes enriched by the ceaseless quest for understanding. Epictetus encourages us to strive for wisdom as we would for a precious gem, knowing that it is the compass that guides us through the labyrinth of existence. The Stoic journey of self-improvement finds its pulse in the ebb and flow of life's experiences. We are not called to perfection, but to progress, not to stagnation, but to steady growth. This Stoic lesson echoes through the corridors of wisdom, whispering that there is no final destination but an endless odyssey of becoming a better version of ourselves. In embracing this lesson, we learn to navigate life's challenges with resilience and fortitude. The Stoic spirit finds strength not in the absence of adversity, but in the quest for growth, which adversity often catalyzes. We discover that setbacks are not roadblocks, but stepping stones, and every trial is a teacher. The commitment to lifelong learning and growth is a lighthouse in the tempest, a source of calm in the face of life's challenges. It is a testament to the Stoic principle that, regardless of external circumstances, we are the masters of our inner world. The more we learn, the more we grow, and the more we grow, the better we become at weathering the storms of existence. In the echoes of Epictetus's teachings, we find an invitation to celebrate the journey of self-improvement, to revel in the process of learning, and to honor the endeavor of growth. It is a lesson that assures us that with every step taken on this path, we come closer to the heart of Stoicism, a life marked by inner calm, composure, and the pursuit of wisdom. In a world filled with distractions and uncertainties, Stoicism offers a timeless and practical guide to maintaining calm and composure. By embracing these 10 lessons from Stoicism, inspired by the wisdom of different Stoic philosophers and embodying the virtue of temperance, you can navigate life's challenges with grace, wisdom, and inner peace. The Stoic temperance becomes your anchor, guiding you through the storms of existence and helping you keep calm in the face of adversity. As you embrace these Stoic lessons, you discover a profound sense of tranquility and equanimity that enables you to thrive regardless of life's challenges. Stoicism's enduring wisdom reminds us that inner peace and composure are not dependent on external circumstances, but are cultivated within through the practice of these valuable lessons. Top of form, bottom of form. Have you ever been in a heated argument, feeling like you're about to explode? We've all been there, whether it's a disagreement in the office, a fight with a loved one, or a heated debate online. But what if I told you there was a way to navigate conflict without using fists, figuratively or literally? The ancient Stoics, masters of emotional control and reason, have incredible strategies for facing your enemy with grace and poise. In this video, you'll discover 13 Stoic-inspired techniques to tackle conflict head-on, drawn from the wisdom of great thinkers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. Trust me, these methods may require more patience and effort than throwing punches, but the rewards, inner peace, long-lasting solutions, and potentially transformed relationships are well worth the effort. So, are you ready to learn how to navigate conflict like a true Stoic? Remember to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can see all of the videos on facing life's challenges with the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. Remember, your most significant victory lies not in external battles, but in mastering your mind and heart. Number 1. Delve into the depths of your adversary. Say you are at the edge of a furious river, the rapids foaming and churning with rage. A prudent Stoic would stop before diving in, his eyes focused on the invisible depths below rather than the churning surface. Entering your opponent's mind is the crux of the first Stoic tactic. To put it metaphorically, the intensity of the situation makes it tempting to act quickly. However, proper comprehension requires putting aside judgment and looking above the apparent surface of the issue, as Epictetus reminds us when he says, "It is not the event itself that troubles us, but our view of it." Here's how to start this examination of Stoicism, the benefits of releasing. Step away from the present, inhale deeply, mentally pan out, and examine the circumstances with dispassionate interest. Put yourself as a fly on the wall and observe the exchange objectively. This emotional separation enables more in-depth observation and more logical reasoning. Investigate their why. Pose sincere queries rather than coming up with counter-arguments. Concentrate on learning the why underlying their statements and behaviors. What drives them? What worries them? And what do they want? What life events have influenced their viewpoint? Important insights can be gleaned by asking open-ended questions such as, "What brought you to this point?" or "What are your underlying concerns?" Examine through their lens, not agreement, but empathy. Try to put yourself in their position to comprehend their perspective, not to support their behavior. How might they perceive the circumstances? What principles and convictions motivate them? This activity aims to develop empathy, discover possible points of agreement, and experience the world through their eyes. Rather than agreeing with them, look for the secret river. Examine what's beneath the surface. Conflict frequently results from deeper problems like unfulfilled desires, fears, or injuries from the past. Consider looking past the current argument and pinpointing the underlying issues causing the conflict. What wants needs to be fulfilled? Which fears are surfacing? Recall that this is a search for understanding rather than approving their behavior. Your objective is to comprehend the layers of experience and perspective that influence the actions of your opponent. Just like a geologist studies the layers of rock to understand the terrain, you can find undiscovered common ground by practicing this Stoic depth-seeking technique, and you might also learn important things about yourself and your responses. The once raging river will become a calmer stream, with understanding and potential resolution engraved in its stones. Number 2. Choose your battles wisely. Disagreements abound in life, ranging from political arguments to arguments in parking lots. However, as the Stoics tell us, only some stones in the path require our whole focus. Getting involved in every dispute, no matter how minor, can wear us out emotionally. Thus, the second Stoic tactic urges us to pick our battles carefully. Picture yourself in front of a vast battleground. Every argument and point of contention has the potential to become a conflict. A prudent Stoic would pause, evaluating each terrain carefully before leaping into the fight. Is the battle worth it? In this skirmish, will it affect my health or the essential things to me? The following tenets of Stoic philosophy will assist you in selecting your battles. The Seneca test. Pause and consider. Consider Seneca's wise words. The greatest remedy for anger is delay. Remind yourself of the importance of pausing. Take a moment to calm down before responding automatically. Take a step back and evaluate the circumstances objectively. It's common for the heat of the moment to warp our perception, making prudent decisions challenging. Is the Epictetus inquiry still important? Consider the following crucial question for yourself. Is it not the event itself that stresses us, but our view of it? Epictetus said. Is there a genuine impact this debate is having on your morals, well-being, or something important in your life? Or is it just a tiny irritation, a stone in the road, instead of a mountain to be conquered? By concentrating your efforts on genuinely significant matters, you can address them with greater effectiveness and focus. The Marcus Aurelius principle. Quiet can be beneficial at times. Acknowledge the power of letting go. Not deciding at all is often the best course of action. According to Marcus Aurelius, it is often enough to hold your tongue and let things pass. Simply ignoring small slights or deciding against getting into pointless arguments can be incredibly self-controlling ways to maintain your inner calm. The cost-benefit analysis of Stoicism. Analyze the advantages and disadvantages. Every conflict has a price regarding mental effort and possible outcomes. Compare the likely emotional costs of losing the disagreement with the potential rewards of winning. Is the cost of triumph justified? The purest kind of strength is sometimes knowing when to give up with dignity. Recall, selecting your battles strategically does not imply weakness or indifference. It's about realizing how limited your time and energy are and using them wisely. By applying this Stoic knowledge, you may navigate life's battlefield more focused and save your strength for the moments that matter. Number 3. Speak with calm and clarity. Imagine yourself facing your opponent with your words prepared for war rather than your weapons drawn. However, the Stoic approach emphasizes calm clarity, which opens the door to more constructive discourse. Instead of shouting insults and accusations, this tactic which draws from the insight of Stoic thinkers such as Seneca, is centered on adequately expressing your demands and concerns to promote understanding and reduce hostility. The following are the main components of communication that draw inspiration from Stoicism. Develop your active listening skills. Go beyond simply waiting to speak. Pay close attention to what your opponent says before offering your own. Please pay close attention to them, both with words and body language. Don't interrupt, nod intelligently, and maintain eye contact. This shows that you appreciate them and understand what they're saying. Respect their emotions and validate their experiences. Empathy, not agreement. Respect their feelings and experiences, even if you disagree. Statements like, "I understand you're feeling frustrated," or "It sounds like this situation is important to you," can help establish rapport and connect. Raise any concerns you may have with I statements. Consider your viewpoint. Instead of placing blame, use I words to communicate your needs and feelings rather than critical you statements. You always do this. Examples of such statements include, "I need to feel respected in this situation," and "I feel hurt when you..." This lessens defensiveness and promotes a more team-oriented approach to problem-solving. Speak firmly and calmly rather than aggressively. Control, not noise, makes one strong. Speak up to ensure you understand, not because you're angry. Maintain a composed tone while speaking with strength and assurance. Steer clear of insults and personal assaults. They will only make the issue worse. Put solving problems first, not points. Seek solutions rather than victories. Remember that the objective is to devise a solution that benefits both of you, not to win the disagreement. Start the discussion with a question like, "What can we do to address this together?" and center it around cooperative problem solving. How can we reach a mutually agreeable outcome? Recall that practicing calm, clear speech is a necessary skill. If you make a mistake, don't be scared to apologize and have patience with yourself. Navigating even the most difficult tasks will get easier the more positive communication you engage in. Number 4. Seek the shared path. Imagine a pair of alpinists ascending seemingly distinct peaks. However, as they climb, they become aware that their respective paths converge and lead to a shared summit where understanding will shine. This metaphor is especially pertinent to the fourth tactic on our non-confrontational journey, seeking the shared road. It represents the Stoic concept of oikeiosis, living in harmony with the natural order. Even though disagreement frequently gives the impression that our ideals or ambitions are incompatible, the Stoics encourage us to look below the surface and discover the deeper currents that bind us, even though they might not appear necessary at first. By concentrating on these common interests, we can create a framework for cooperation and compromise that will eventually result in a more amicable settlement. To start your Stoic search for common ground, follow these steps. Change perspective from me to we. Transcend individual viewpoints. Recast the disagreement as a cooperative effort toward a common objective rather than a you versus me situation. Consider this. What do we both ultimately want? This change in viewpoint allows for possible points of agreement, even if they are not immediately apparent. Look for the necessities below. Look below the surface. Conflicting wants are frequently the result of underlying unfulfilled needs. Examine the needs each of you is attempting to satisfy through this conflict. It could be a need for safety, honor, or approval. Recognizing these everyday needs can foster empathy and make discovering solutions that care for them more accessible. Discover shared ideas. Our values guide our actions. Look behind the particular problem at hand and investigate the core principles that everyone possesses. Do you both appreciate honesty, justice, or decency? Shared values can act as a moral compass, pointing you toward decisions consistent with your beliefs. Begin small, gain speed. Appreciate small victories. Don't count on reaching a consensus right away on everything. Instead, concentrate on finding tiny points of agreement, regardless of how trivial they appear. These early agreements can foster confidence and momentum, making taking on more challenging problems simpler. Recall that life is a journey rather than a destination. The key is patience. It can take time to find common ground, so be patient and understanding. Recognize accomplishments, accept failures, and remember that every step toward cooperation is a step away from confrontation. You set off on a path beyond simple solutions using this Stoic technique. By seeing the connections between your experiences and laying the groundwork for a more peaceful future, you look for a standard route. Remember that those who ascend together, guided by the light of shared ideals and interests, will reach the height of understanding. Number 5. Appeal to their inner values. Imagine yourself before a massive oak tree, its roots firmly entwined with the soil. It will take more than just raw force to move the oak. On the other hand, a prudent Stoic would be aware of the influence of the elements, such as wind and water, which might subtly nudge something toward its ideals by whispering in its ear. This metaphor exemplifies the Stoic tactic of appealing to inner ideals, a potent instrument for skillfully and peacefully resolving disputes. We direct our attention to the rich soil of their values and ideas rather than taking direct aim at their persona. Understanding and respecting their inner compass can produce solutions consistent with their fundamental beliefs. This will eventually result in more sincere buy-in and long-lasting agreements. To start your Stoic journey towards value-driven persuasion, follow these steps. Expose the value landscape. Develop into a valuable archaeologist by conducting research before formulating your case. What principles do they adhere to? What values direct their behavior? Keep an eye on what they say and do, and note what they affirm, deny, and laud. This facilitates creating a map of their valuescape. By pointing out possible connections, close the value divide. Identify the common theme. Avoid assuming their values are completely at odds with yours. Seek out common ideals, even if they don't seem to fit the circumstances at hand. You both appreciate duty, honesty, and fairness. Finding these common values acts as a link, enabling you to present your case in a way that appeals to them. Talk in their vocabulary. After you clearly understand their values, adjust your message to fit them, rather than trying to trick them. Talk in a way that expresses their interests and worries. This is telling your values in a way that is consistent with theirs, creating a sense of common ground, rather than compromising your own. Don't just tell, show. Since deeds speak louder than words, show them how your solution embodies their beliefs rather than merely explaining them. Give specific instances, anecdotes, or previous deeds demonstrating how your strategy embodies the essential principles. This strengthens and humanizes your case. Recall that respect is essential. Seek comprehension rather than dominance. Always be respectful and understanding during this process. Recall that your objective is to assist them in finding a solution that addresses your concerns and aligns with their values, rather than to control or exert dominance over them. Using this Stoic technique, you become a competent navigator, instead of a warrior brandishing words, leading your adversary to a place they can genuinely believe in. Recall that fundamental transformation arises from resonance with the values that sculpt an individual's identity rather than from coercion. This strategy develops mutual respect and understanding, and in the end, opens the door to advantageous solutions for all parties. Number 6. Using humor wisely in conflict resolution. Imagine yourself walking a tightrope that is stretched over a gaping hole. A mistake can send you into the depths of offense, yet humor can help you stay upright, like a balancing pole. Using humor to resolve conflict is the essence of the 6th Stoic technique, encapsulated in this nuanced metaphor. There is no denying that laughter can reduce tension and foster a more open atmosphere for discussion. A well-timed joke or playful decorum can serve as a pressure release valve, allowing understanding to flourish and letting go of pent-up frustration. The Stoic philosopher Seneca says, "A joke is a fragile thing, and a jest may turn into an insult." We must use comedy with deliberate caution to fully realize its possibilities. Here are some guidelines to help you smoothly navigate the comedic tightrope. Recognize your audience. Only some find the same things funny, so consider your opponent's humor style and personality before you crack a joke. What amuses them? In their opinion, which subjects could be delicate? Be cautious and err on the side of caution while making jokes, because something that plays well with one person may offend another. Seek out silent joy, not horniness. Laughing at, not with. Creating a shared sense of humor is the aim, not using jokes as a tool to make fun of or denigrate your opponent. Humor that belittles oneself is frequently a safer bet, since it demonstrates humility and a readiness to own up to mistakes. The timing is crucial. After reading the room, reread it. Humor can have disastrous results when misused. Before bringing in comedy, assess the situation's emotional intensity. It's better to wait until things have settled down. If the tension is still muscular, maintain calm and kindness. Keep insults and sarcasm at the door. Steer clear of jokes that make light of sensitive subjects, stereotypes, or personal assaults. Recall that building bridges, not burning them, is the aim. Comedy as an instrument, not a crutch. Please don't rely on comedy alone to end the argument. Although humor can be a helpful tool, it shouldn't replace sincere communication or dealing with critical issues. Don't expect it to be the miraculous fix. Use it sparingly to promote openness and lighten the atmosphere. Always err on the side of caution. When in doubt, it's better to avoid jokes entirely. To determine whether they're appropriate, recall that it's simpler to gain trust than to regain it following an error. Including comedy using these Stoic ideas, comedy may become an effective tool for rapport building, stress relief, and opening up more excellent room for conflict resolution rather than a dangerous tightrope walk. Recall that the power of laughter is in its capacity to unite rather than divide. When used appropriately, it can turn tense situations into chances for understanding and resolution. This might shock you. Number 7. Offer empathy. Empathy. Picture yourself on a rough mountain trail, staring over a gap at a fellow climber who seems to be going the other way. Their annoyance and rage crackle through the valley like a windstorm. Instead of hurling arguments across the vacuum, the Stoic approach would be to descend gradually, bridge the gap, and extend an understanding hand. This is the core of the 7th strategy, the Stoic principle of expressing empathy. Empathy is a valuable tool for resolving conflicts amicably, even during heated arguments, as Marcus Aurelius recommends. We can create genuine connections and open the door to a more fruitful conversation by acknowledging the other person's sentiments and validating their experiences. Here's how you develop this superpower of Stoicism. Change the perspective from me to them. See the world through their eyes. Try to comprehend the situation from their point of view rather than concentrating just on your own. What life events have influenced their emotions? What insecurities or concerns could be motivating them? This change in perspective encourages empathy and enables you to recognize their distinct reality. Pay attention to the above words. Listen to the words not spoken. It's essential to pay attention to both verbal and non-verbal cues when communicating with others. This includes things like body language, tone of voice, facial expressions, and spoken words. It is vital to comprehend the information being transmitted and react accordingly. These frequently disclose deeper feelings that their words may have obscured. Try to understand while actively listening without passing judgment. Recognize, don't pass judgment. Appreciate their emotions rather than their behavior. Even if you disagree with them, let them know you are aware of and sympathetic to their feelings. I understand why this situation is important to you, or it sounds like you're feeling frustrated, are phrases that can significantly increase trust and decrease defensiveness. Look for the hidden pain. Find the source of the disagreement. Anger and irritation are frequently the result of deeper emotional scars. Look into any potential sources of pain, fear, or insecurity for them. A deeper understanding makes it possible to address the underlying cause rather than simply the symptoms. It also builds empathy. Recall that gratitude is not agreement. Walk along with them, not in front of them. Showing empathy does not imply endorsing their behavior or sacrificing your moral principles. It's as simple as recognizing their viewpoint and establishing an environment encouraging sincere dialogue. You can handle the disagreement with dignity and understanding, even if you disagree. You create a bridge of understanding rather than merely a bridge across an abyss of conflict. When you adopt this Stoic concept of empathy, you put yourself in their position to connect rather than pass judgment, and there's hope for actual resolution in that connection, not only for the here and now, but also for how you deal with each other moving forward. So, come down from the mountain, reach out, and give the gift of empathy. Together, you might be taken on an unexpected excursion. Number 8. Embrace the art of compromise. Imagine yourself before a massive oak tree, its branches obstinately waving in the breeze. It could take a lot of force to get the oak to bend to your will, which could hurt the tree and you. A more prudent strategy that draws from Stoic philosophy is learning the art of compromise, bending and adapting to find a way for the wind and the oak to coexist peacefully. Hard views and absolutes are rarely conducive to successful conflict resolution. Epictetus states, "Seek not to have things happen as you wish, but rather wish them to happen as they do, and you will live a tranquil life." The ability to discover answers that at least partially meet your problems and those of your opponent is a sign of true power. The following is how you can practice this Stoic art. Change me to we. Reframe the conflict as a cooperative endeavor. See the situation as a chance to devise a solution that works for everyone rather than as a rivalry. This change in viewpoint allows for more harmonious results and innovative approaches to problem solving. Identify common objectives. Look for common ground, even if it appears obscure. Examine your shared goals in the long run and see past the current argument. Maybe you both have the same values: fairness, respect, or a productive working environment. Finding these common objectives lays the groundwork for reaching a compromise. Set priorities and have the will to let go. Only some details matter equally. Only some features of the circumstances are worth dying for. Decide what is most important and be prepared to give in on less important things. This enables you to concentrate on identifying answers that deal with your main issues. Determine the win-enough or win-win solution. Look for win-win solutions. Instead of focusing on a win for one party, try to find a solution where all parties feel their requirements are understood and somewhat met in the long term. This lessens animosity and promotes a feeling of justice. Recall that life is a journey rather than a destination. Patience and flexibility are key. Compromises are rarely a one-time thing. Be ready to review the agreement if something changes or new information becomes available. A durable compromise requires open communication and a readiness to change. Accepting the Stoic art of compromise keeps your demands and principles intact. Instead, you exhibit strength, adaptability, and a dedication to coming up with solutions that work for everyone. You understand how to live in a dynamic equilibrium condition, not resistance. Like the wind and the oak, which benefits everyone by bringing about a more tranquil and harmonious outcome. Number 9. Seek external aid without shame. Picture yourself tangled up in a thicket of thorns, the branches blocking your path as they twist and twirl. No matter how hard you try, advancement feels unattainable. This aggravation frequently resembles the sense of being trapped in a dispute where communication breaks down and a settlement seems impossible. However, the Stoics remind us that we are not alone, even in these situations. The 9th tactic strongly emphasizes asking for outside assistance as evidence of our dedication to forging a positive course of action rather than as a show of weakness. A mediator or counselor, for example, can serve as an impartial third party to help navigate the complex maze of conflict. Just as a Stoic philosopher leads their students toward knowledge, they can offer a controlled environment for discussion, guaranteeing that each side is heard and valued. Their knowledge can be helpful in breaking through the confusing communication, eliminating the emotional undergrowth. Strong emotions frequently impede our ability to communicate, making it difficult to grasp the viewpoints of others or to explain oneself clearly. By helping to untangle these emotional knots, an impartial third person can foster a more relaxed and productive conversational atmosphere, overcoming the divide and creating a bridge of understanding. Counselors and mediators are educated to recognize and help parties in conflict close their knowledge gaps. They can promote empathy and lessen defensiveness by assisting each party in seeing things from the viewpoint of the other, encouraging fruitful conversations and leading the discussion toward resolution. Competent facilitators can guide the discussion toward constructive problem-solving, guaranteeing that all sides can voice their concerns and cooperate to find answers. Offer resources and methods, getting you ready for the journey. Many counselors and mediators have received specialized training in conflict resolution and communication methods. In the long run, they can help you build stronger relationships by providing you with the skills and techniques you need to handle conflicts in the future. Recall that asking for help is a strength, not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom. According to Stoic philosophy, asking for assistance is a display of wisdom rather than weakness. It shows that you are dedicated to developing a solution that works for everyone and are prepared to invest in your development and the partnership's success. By enlisting outside assistance, you can benefit from the knowledge and expertise of others, allowing you and your opponent to successfully negotiate the complex maze of disputes and arrive at a peaceful and constructive conclusion. Recall that occasionally receiving assistance can brighten the way ahead and remind you that you are not alone, even in the most trying circumstances. Number 10. Forgiveness. Imagine yourself fastened to a massive rock, its mass pulling you downward while its jagged edges pierce your flesh. This weight, which keeps you stuck in the past and makes it difficult for you to go on, is the weight of resentment and unforgiveness. Forgiveness, a gift to oneself, is a potent tool the Stoic philosophy offers for releasing these bonds. Neither the past nor the other person's behavior is justified by forgiveness. We are reminded by Seneca that he who is revengeful lives with a wound always open. Instead, forgiveness is a deliberate decision to let go of the hurt feelings that keep you stuck so you can go on with more clarity and peace of mind. Here's how to start this self-liberating Stoic journey. Turn the attention from them to you. Acknowledge the effect on your health. More harm results from holding on to anger and resentment than from the other person. It drains your vitality, impairs your judgment, and makes it more difficult for you to be happy and at peace. You can take back control of your mental condition and put your well-being first when you choose forgiveness. Recognize the influence of perspective. Examine the circumstances more broadly. Forgiveness occasionally necessitates comprehending the background and intentions of the other person. This is admitting their shortcomings and vulnerabilities rather than justifying their actions. This change of viewpoint might increase empathy and lessen the situation's emotional impact. Let go, but remember, let go of the past, not the memories. Being forgiven does not include forgetting the past. Instead, it entails letting go of the bad feelings connected to it. Recall the lessons you've learned, but let go of the things weighing you down, like resentment and hatred. Engage in active forgiveness. Remember that forgiveness is a continuous process. Please make an effort to extend it. It's a journey that needs constant dedication. You can practice active forgiveness by consciously letting go of unfavorable feelings and thoughts whenever they surface. Techniques like journaling, mindfulness, and meditation can be helpful tools in this process. Keep in mind that forgiveness is yours, a present for you, not for them. Forgiveness is ultimately a gift you give to yourself. It frees you from the bonds of negativity and gives you more joy, calm, and emotional flexibility. Forgive yourself rather than wait for the other person to earn it. Accepting spiritual forgiveness allows you to change your present and create space for a better future. Rather than erase the past, you choose to walk the road of peace and self-compassion, releasing yourself from the bonds of bitterness and anger. Recall that showing forgiveness demonstrates your strength and dedication to your well-being, not weakness. Thus, exhale deeply, let go of the weight, and advance into a future offering more independence and inner serenity. Number 11. Growth from the ashes of conflict. Think of a phoenix that has undergone conflict and grown stronger and wiser. The spirit of the 11th Stoic strategy, using conflict as a catalyst for personal growth, is embodied in this potent metaphor. Remember Epictetus's advice, to make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as fixed and beyond your control. Through introspection and self-evaluation, you can turn disagreement into a learning opportunity and a springboard for personal growth. Here's how to start this life-changing adventure. Adopt a learning attitude. See obstacles as opportunities. Change your mindset from perceiving conflict as a bad thing to perceiving it as an opportunity to develop and learn. Be open to analyzing your actions and inadequacies and approach the situation with an open mind. Make your excavation. Identify the underlying causes. Give careful thought to how you fit into the conflict. What made you react the way you did? Which principles or convictions was the situation at odds with? Which feelings became dominant, and how did they affect your actions? Sincerity is crucial in understanding your habits and triggers, so consider these questions carefully. Determine doable domains from contemplation to implementation. Don't let reflection get you down. Convert your observations into actionable suggestions for enhancement. Did you need help communicating effectively? Think about honing your active listening techniques. Were your feelings too strong? Investigate mindfulness practices to improve emotional control. Seek guidance and criticism. Learning from reliable mentors. Look for a loyal friend, therapist, or mentor who can encourage your personal development and provide unbiased input. Talking to a third party about your experiences and observations might help you see things differently and promote responsibility. Recall that growth is a procedure. The key is patience. Expect a gradual change. Personal development requires work and time. Remain dedicated to your continuous improvement. Recognize failures as teaching moments and rejoice in little accomplishments. Adopting this Stoic philosophy may turn disagreement from a harmful force into a powerful catalyst for self-discovery and constructive transformation. You are restored from the ashes and emerge from them more robust, wiser, and prepared to face obstacles head-on with poise and grit. Recall that you can learn and develop, and that even the most trying circumstances can serve as stepping stones to becoming the finest version of yourself. Number 12. Setting boundaries. Picture yourself with the waves gently crashing at your feet as you stand on a spotless beach. But hold on, someone is invading your personal space and upsetting you. Setting boundaries and defending your well-being and inner serenity are potent tools the 12th Stoic technique offers in this scenario, symbolizing the delicate balance of navigating interactions. It is not the event itself that troubles us, but our view of it. Epictetus reminds us, although we have no control over what others do, we influence how we react. By defining what we will and won't tolerate, we may safeguard ourselves against negativity and promote happier relationships by establishing clear boundaries. Here's how to apply this Stoic idea here in practice. Understand your inner guidance. Determine your requirements and values. Consider what matters most before establishing boundaries. Which actions are consistent with your values? Which behaviors make you feel low on energy or violate your personal space? Establishing these internal limits lays the groundwork for effective communication. Communicate respectfully and clearly. Words, not walls. Steer clear of ambiguous statements and passive-aggressive behavior. Use I phrases to assertively and directly communicate your boundaries while concentrating on your wants and feelings. Recall that cultivating cooperation and understanding requires polite communication. The secret is consistency. Consistency is vital. Once you set boundaries, be steadfast, like a lighthouse. Never give in to guilt or avoid conflict by making exceptions. You gain respect from others and show yourself respect by sticking to your boundaries. Get ready for opposition. Recognize that not everyone will be amenable to your boundaries. Prepare yourself for possible resistance by politely restating your position and stressing how important it is to honor your requirements. Recall that boundaries give you power. Self-care is the key to freedom. Establishing limits is necessary to safeguard your mental and emotional health, not to be selfish. You can set an environment where you can grow by protecting your space and energy, which aligns with Seneca's goal of living with a cheerful heart and a grateful attitude. Adopting this Stoic idea creates a lighthouse that leads you and others to more respect, transparent communication, and eventually happier and more satisfying relationships. Instead of building walls, recall that creating boundaries gives you the power to live a life full of inner freedom, respect, and tranquility. It's an act of self-love. Number 13. Remember, you control your reactions. Imagine yourself in a violent storm with the waves smashing around you and the wind ripping. Although the storm's wrath is beyond your control, you can choose to handle it. This potent analogy captures the spirit of the 13th Stoic tactic: to remember that you are in charge of your responses and not the events around you. The Stoics remind us that real strength comes from dominating our inner world rather than exerting force over the outside world. Epictetus states, "It is a shame for the soul to depend on the body for satisfaction." We gain inner calm despite life's storms by concentrating on our reactions, which we can control. Here's how you develop this superpower of Stoicism. Determine what triggers you. Recognize your emotional terrain. Think briefly about the circumstances or activities that usually make you feel bad. Are there some phrases, people, or situations that get under your skin? The first step in controlling these triggers is acknowledging them. Take a moment to breathe. Make room between the stimulus and the response. Decide to wait before acting on impulse. Inhale deeply and give yourself space to observe and evaluate the circumstances quietly. This gives you room to make deliberate decisions and keeps your emotions from controlling what you do. Shift your viewpoint. Change the perspective, not the facts. Our reactions are frequently influenced more by how we interpret situations than their actual occurrence. Examine other viewpoints and confront your automatic beliefs. Can this situation be solved? What good things are you able to concentrate on? Select your reaction carefully. React. Don't overreact. After you've collected yourself and adjusted your viewpoint, consider your options carefully before responding. Does it help you to react with rage or frustration? Would being composed and aggressive work better? Recall that you can exacerbate or de-escalate the situation depending on how you respond. Exercise, exercise, exercise. Learning to control your reactions is a process that takes time and effort, just like any other ability. It takes consistent practice. By experimenting with varied responses in challenging situations, you can progressively increase your emotional resilience and self-control. You do not become docile when you adopt this Stoic idea. You gain strength. You learn to ride out life's storms with courage and grace, discovering inner peace in conquering your reactions rather than trying to dominate the outside world. Recall that peaceful power over your thoughts and feelings is the genuine test of strength, not control from without. Thus, maintain your composure under pressure, make intelligent decisions, and face life's storms with the steadfast poise of a Stoic sage. These Stoic-inspired techniques can help you turn disagreement from a place of fighting into one of learning, understanding, and inner calm. Recall that the real triumph is not about defeating your opponent, but about controlling your feelings and becoming a stronger, more confident version of yourself. We're about to explore 7 habits that completely transformed my life in just 1 week. Yes, you read that correctly. 1 week. I know it sounds almost unbelievable, but trust me, these aren't the typical tips you hear all the time. These are real, honest habits that I personally incorporated into my daily routine. I experienced the struggles, the breakthroughs, and the growth, and the change I underwent was nothing short of amazing. I'm excited to share these with you because they've made such a profound difference in my life, and I believe they can do the same for you. Whether you're aiming to boost your productivity, improve your mental health, or make a positive change in your daily life, these habits can help you get there. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive in. Stick with me until the end, because these habits aren't just theoretical. They're practical steps that you can begin implementing today. I'll also share personal stories and insights from my own journey, giving you a candid look at how these habits worked for me. Let's get started. The first habit that truly changed my life was waking up early. Let's be real, I was never a morning person. My bed was my sanctuary, and I used to hit the snooze button far too many times. Mornings always felt rushed, and I often felt like I was starting my day off wrong. But I decided to try waking up early, and let me tell you, it was a game changer. I began setting my alarm for 5 a.m., and the first few days were tough. I dragged myself out of bed, feeling groggy and questioning whether this was worth it. But I pushed through, and by the 3rd day, something incredible happened. I began to appreciate the peacefulness of the early morning hours. There was something almost magical about being up before the rest of the world, when everything was still and calm. With those extra hours in the morning, I had time for things I'd never been able to fit into my day before. I started with some light exercise, nothing intense, just stretching or a short jog around the neighborhood. This helped wake me up and energized me for the rest of the day. I also took time to meditate and set my intentions for the day. These few moments of mindfulness had a huge impact on my overall mindset and productivity. An unexpected benefit of waking up early was that I no longer felt rushed. I had plenty of time to enjoy a healthy breakfast, savor my coffee, and plan out my day. This calm, unrushed start set a positive tone for the entire day. I felt more organized, less stressed, and had a greater sense of control over my time. One memory that stands out was the morning I watched the sunrise from my balcony. It was such a simple moment, but deeply beautiful. As the sky changed colors and the world slowly came to life, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude and peace. It was in that moment that I truly understood the power of waking up early. I encourage you to give it a try, even if it's just for a week. Start by waking up just 15 minutes earlier than usual and gradually increase that time. You might be surprised by how much of a positive impact it can have on your life. It's not just about gaining extra hours in the day, it's about using those hours to create a more mindful, intentional, and fulfilling start to your day. Speaking of daily habits, daily exercise was habit number 2 that truly transformed my life. Let me be upfront. I wasn't always the most active person. I used to find every excuse in the book to avoid working out. I'm too tired, I don't have time, or I'll start tomorrow. Sound familiar? But one day, I decided that enough was enough. I made a commitment to move my body every single day for a week, and the results were incredible. I started small, just 20 minutes a day, mixing up yoga, jogging, and strength training. I wanted to keep things interesting so I wouldn't get bored and quit halfway through. The first few days were tough. My muscles were sore, and I felt exhausted, but I reminded myself why I was doing this, to feel better both physically and mentally. By the fourth day, something amazing happened. I woke up feeling more energized. My mood had improved drastically. I was less irritable and much more positive. I realized that those 20 minutes of exercise weren't just about burning calories or building muscle. They were about giving myself time to focus on me, to release stress, and to boost my endorphins. One morning, I remember lacing up my sneakers for a jog. It was a crisp, clear day, and as I ran, I felt a sense of freedom and clarity that I hadn't experienced in a long time. It was just me, the open road, and my thoughts. That connection to myself and the world around me was truly empowering. I also started to see physical changes. My posture improved, I felt stronger, and I noticed a difference in my overall fitness. But the biggest change was in my mindset. Exercise became my time to disconnect from the world and reconnect with myself. It became a form of self-care rather than a chore. Another personal highlight was trying yoga for the first time. At first, I was hesitant, thinking I wasn't flexible enough or that it wouldn't be a real workout. But after a few sessions, I fell in love with it. Yoga taught me to be present, to breathe deeply, and to listen to my body. It was a transformative experience that went beyond just physical benefits. Incorporating daily exercise into my routine made me realize that taking care of my body directly impacted my mental health and overall happiness. It's not about being perfect or pushing yourself to extremes. It's about finding a form of movement that you enjoy and making it a regular part of your life. So if you're like I was, struggling to get started, my advice is to begin small. Find something you enjoy, whether it's dancing, hiking, or just going for a brisk walk. Commit to just a few minutes a day and gradually build up from there. Trust me, the benefits you'll experience will be well worth the effort. Exercise is a habit that can transform not just your body, but your entire outlook on life. Habit number 3 is journaling. Now, I used to think journaling was just for people who had loads of free time or were naturally introspective. I was skeptical. I mean, who has time to sit down and write about their day when there's so much going on? But after just 1 week of consistent journaling, my perspective completely shifted, and it became a cornerstone of my personal growth journey. I started simple. Every night before bed, I dedicated just 10 minutes to journaling. I bought a plain notebook and a pen that felt comfortable in my hand. No fancy apps, no pressure to make it look pretty, just me and my thoughts. The first night I sat down to write, I didn't know where to begin. But as I kept writing, I found that I was not only reflecting on my day, but also gaining insights into myself, my thoughts, and my emotions. It became an important practice that helped me process my day, focus on gratitude, and set intentions for the future. The first night, I stared at the blank page, unsure of what to write. But then, I began with something basic: how my day went, what made me happy, and what I struggled with. As the days passed, I began to dive deeper. I wrote about my goals, my fears, my dreams, and even my insecurities. It felt like having a conversation with myself, and that's when the magic happened. I started to notice patterns in my thoughts and behaviors. I realized that some of the things I worried about were completely out of my control, while others were areas where I could take actionable steps. One night, I wrote about a particularly stressful day at work. By putting my thoughts on paper, I was able to process my emotions better. I wrote about what specifically stressed me out, how it made me feel, and what I could do differently next time. This simple act of reflection helped me gain clarity and feel more in control of my emotions. Another powerful aspect of journaling was tracking my progress. I noted down small victories and milestones, no matter how minor they seemed. Looking back at these entries filled me with a sense of accomplishment and motivated me to keep pushing forward. For example, I wrote about a presentation I was nervous about and how I prepared for it. Seeing my preparation process and the positive outcome documented in my journal was incredibly encouraging. I also started a gratitude section in my journal. Every day, I wrote down 3 things I was grateful for. This practice shifted my focus from what was lacking in my life to appreciating what I already had. It was a simple yet profound shift that brought more positivity into my daily life. One particularly memorable entry was about a random act of kindness I experienced. A stranger helped me when I was struggling with my grocery bags. Writing about this act of kindness not only made me feel grateful, but also inspired me to pay it forward. Through journaling, I discovered a lot about myself, my desires, my fears, my strengths, and my weaknesses. It became a form of therapy, a way to untangle the complex web of thoughts and emotions that we all carry around. It provided a safe space where I could be completely honest with myself without fear of judgment. If you've never tried journaling, I highly encourage you to start. Don't worry about writing perfectly or having profound thoughts. Just write whatever comes to mind. It could be a stream of consciousness, a recap of your day, or reflections on a specific event. Give yourself the freedom to express whatever you're feeling. You might be surprised at how much clarity and peace it brings into your life. Remember, it's not about what you write, it's about the process of writing itself. Next up, mindful eating. This was a big one for me because, like many people, I used to eat on the go, barely paying attention to what or how much I was consuming. My meals were often rushed and distracted, eaten while scrolling through my phone or working on my laptop. I didn't realize how much this was affecting my overall well-being until I decided to give mindful eating a try for 1 week. Mindful eating is all about paying full attention to the experience of eating and drinking, both inside and outside the body. It's about savoring each bite, noticing the flavors, textures, and even the sounds of your food. So, I made a commitment to eat all my meals mindfully. I started by setting the scene for my meals. I cleared my dining table, set a nice place for myself, and removed any distractions. No phone, no TV, no laptop. At first, it felt a bit strange to sit quietly with my meal, but it quickly became a calming ritual. I began each meal with a few deep breaths to center myself and bring my focus to the present moment. One of the first things I noticed was how much more I enjoyed my food. I took the time to really taste and appreciate each bite. Foods I had eaten hundreds of times before suddenly had new, delightful flavors and textures that I had never really noticed. For example, the crunch of fresh vegetables and the sweetness of ripe fruit became much more pronounced. It was like experiencing food in high definition. Another major change was how much more satisfied I felt after meals. By eating slowly and mindfully, I gave my body time to signal when it was full. This was a big shift for me, as I used to eat quickly and often ended up overeating. By paying attention to my hunger and fullness cues, I found that I naturally ate less and felt more satisfied. One memorable experience was with a simple bowl of oatmeal. Normally, I would wolf it down without a second thought, but this time I took it slow, savoring the creamy texture and the subtle sweetness of the honey I drizzled on top. It became a moment of gratitude and mindfulness that set a positive tone for the rest of my day. I also started to notice how different foods made me feel. Heavier processed foods left me feeling sluggish and bloated, while fresh whole foods made me feel energized and light. This awareness led me to make healthier choices naturally, without feeling deprived or restricted. Another aspect of mindful eating is being aware of the emotional connections we have with food. I started to recognize when I was eating out of boredom, stress, or emotional comfort, rather than true hunger. This awareness was powerful. Instead of mindlessly snacking, I could address the underlying emotion. Maybe I needed a break, some relaxation, or a chat with a friend, rather than a bag of chips. There was one particular evening when I had a craving for something sweet after dinner. Instead of automatically reaching for dessert, I paused and asked myself if I was truly hungry or just seeking a reward after a long day. I realized I wasn't actually hungry and opted for a warm cup of herbal tea instead. It was a small victory that highlighted how powerful mindful eating can be. Incorporating mindful eating into my life was a transformative experience. It helped me develop a healthier relationship with food, improved my digestion, and even enhanced my overall sense of well-being. It's a habit I've continued beyond that initial week, and I can't recommend it enough. If you're interested in trying mindful eating, start with just one meal a day. Sit down without distractions, take a few deep breaths, and savor each bite. Pay attention to the flavors, textures, and how the food makes you feel. You might be surprised at how this simple practice can change your entire eating experience. It's a wonderful way to reconnect with your body and truly appreciate the nourishment that food provides. Now, habit 5, limiting screen time. This one was particularly challenging for me, and I suspect it might be for many of you as well. We live in a digital world, and it's so easy to get sucked into endless hours of scrolling through social media, binge-watching shows, or checking emails. I realized that all the screen time was taking a toll on my mental health, productivity, and even my sleep. So, I decided to set some boundaries and see what happened. First, I set a daily limit of 1 hour for non-work-related screen time. This meant no mindless scrolling through Instagram, no endless YouTube marathons, and no late-night TV binges. It was tough at first. I had become so accustomed to filling every spare moment with screens, but I knew I needed to make a change. The first thing I noticed was how much more time I had in my day. I hadn't realized how much of my time was being eaten up by screens until I consciously limited it. With those extra hours, I found myself rediscovering old hobbies and interests that I had neglected. I picked up a book I had been meaning to read, started doodling and drawing again, and even tried my hand at cooking new recipes. One evening, instead of watching TV after dinner, I decided to take a walk in the park. The fresh air, the sounds of nature, and the simple act of moving my body felt incredibly rejuvenating. It was a stark contrast to the usual screen-induced lethargy. That walk became a cherished part of my daily routine, something I looked forward to and enjoyed immensely. Another significant change was in my sleep quality. I used to take my phone to bed, scrolling through social media or watching videos until I felt sleepy. But this habit often left me feeling wired and restless, leading to poor sleep. By limiting screen time, especially before bed, I found it much easier to wind down and fall asleep. I started a bedtime routine that didn't involve screens, reading a physical book, meditating, or simply reflecting on my day. This change led to deeper, more restful sleep and made a huge difference in my overall energy levels. I also noticed improvements in my mental health. Without the constant barrage of news updates, social media comparisons, and digital distractions, I felt less anxious and more present. I was more focused during conversations, more attentive to the people around me, and more engaged in my daily activities. It was like a fog had lifted, allowing me to see and experience life more clearly. One particularly memorable day was when I spent an entire afternoon at a local cafe with just a notebook and a pen. I wrote down my thoughts, planned some goals, and even sketched a bit. It was such a peaceful and productive time, free from digital interruptions. I felt more connected to myself and my surroundings in a way that screens had never allowed. Of course, there were moments of temptation and slips along the way, but each time I noticed myself reaching for my phone out of habit, I gently reminded myself of the benefits I was experiencing and redirected my focus to something more fulfilling. Limiting screen time isn't about completely eliminating technology from your life. It's about creating a healthier balance and being more intentional with your time. If you're feeling overwhelmed or disconnected, I encourage you to try setting some screen time boundaries. Start small, maybe with an hour less each day, and gradually increase it. Use that extra time to reconnect with yourself, your loved ones, and the world around you. You might be surprised at how much richer and more fulfilling life can be when you step away from the screens and engage more with the real world. All right, everyone, that wraps up our journey through the 7 habits that dramatically changed my life in just 1 week. It's been an incredible experience, not just implementing these habits, but also sharing them with you. Each of these habits has the power to bring about significant positive changes, and I truly believe that if they worked for me, they can work for anyone. If any of these habits have inspired you, I encourage you to try them out for yourself. Start small, maybe with just 1 habit, and see how it feels. Adjust according to what suits your lifestyle and needs. Remember, the goal isn't perfection. It's progress. It's about making small, manageable changes that, over time, lead to substantial transformations. I'd love to hear about your experiences, so please drop a comment below sharing which habit you're thinking of adopting or any questions you might have about getting started. Your feedback and stories are what make this community so amazing and supportive. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our future content. We have lots more insights and tips coming your way that you won't want to miss. Sharing this video with friends or family who might benefit from these habits could also make a huge difference in their lives. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, small changes lead to big results. Let's keep growing, keep evolving, and turn our everyday routines into powerful moments of self-improvement. See you in the next video. Stay awesome, everyone. Let's get real. Most people are too afraid to tell you to your face that they don't like you. Instead, they hide behind fake smiles, hollow compliments, and forced politeness. I've been there too, thinking someone was a friend, only to find out they were secretly hoping for my downfall. It's brutal, but here's the truth. If you don't recognize the signs, you'll end up wasting your time and energy on people who deep down can't understand you. So, let's cut through the BS and talk about the signs that someone dislikes you but is hiding it. You might not like what you hear, but it's better to face the truth than live in denial. 1. They're always joking about your flaws. We all know that one person who loves to joke, especially when the joke is at your expense. They'll pick at your quirks, mistakes, and imperfections, always with a smile, saying, "I'm just messing with you." At first it seems harmless, but let's be honest. These jokes are often more than just playful banter. They're calculated digs cleverly disguised as humor, meant to chip away at your self-esteem bit by bit. I remember a time when I was close to someone who always had something to say about me, how I dressed, the way I spoke, even the projects I was working on. At first, I laughed it off, thinking it was all in good fun. But over time, I noticed a pattern. The jokes were always aimed at my perceived weaknesses, never at my strengths. It wasn't long before I started second-guessing myself, wondering if maybe I was the problem. Here's where the controversy kicks in. People who consistently joke about your flaws aren't doing it out of affection. They're testing the waters to see how much disrespect you'll tolerate. It's a subtle form of manipulation, a way for them to assert dominance while keeping you in your place. They're telling you, in no uncertain terms, that you're beneath them. The most insidious part is that they get away with it because we've been conditioned to believe that if we can't take a joke, we're the ones with the problem. But let's flip that script. I'm here to tell you that there's nothing wrong with standing up for yourself when a joke crosses the line. In fact, it's essential. You deserve to be around people who lift you up, not those who knock you down for a cheap laugh. True friends don't need to point out your flaws to feel better about themselves. They celebrate your strengths and help you work through your weaknesses without making you the butt of the joke. I've seen it happen time and again. People who let these kinds of jokes slide, thinking it's easier to keep the peace than make waves. But here's the deep truth. Allowing others to disrespect you, even in jest, is a slippery slope. It starts with small comments, but over time those jokes can wear you down, making you question your worth. The more you allow it, the more they'll push until you're left doubting yourself, all because you didn't want to seem too sensitive. I had to learn this lesson the hard way. I realized that by laughing along, I was giving them permission to keep going. I was complicit in my own disrespect. It wasn't until I started setting boundaries and standing up for myself that I noticed a change, not only in how they treated me, but in how I began to see myself. I stopped allowing their words to define me and started taking control of my own story. Here's my advice. The next time someone makes a joke at your expense, don't just brush it off. Ask yourself, is this really funny, or is there something deeper going on here? If it's the latter, don't be afraid to call them out. It might feel uncomfortable, and it might even end the friendship, but your self-respect is worth more than someone else's misguided attempt at humor. Life is too short to be surrounded by people who don't value you. If their version of friendship is constantly putting you down, it's time to seek out new friends. True friends don't need to bring you down to feel good about themselves. So, stand tall, speak up, and never let anyone reduce you to a punchline. 2. They give compliments that feel like insults. We've all experienced it. Someone offers you a compliment, but instead of feeling uplifted, you're left with a bitter taste, like you've been slapped with a velvet glove. It's the kind of compliment that makes you pause and wonder, was that really a compliment or an insult? And here's the harsh truth. Often, it's a mix of both. These backhanded compliments are a subtle tactic used to undermine you while pretending to be kind. I remember a time when I was proud of a big project I had worked on. After putting in countless hours of effort, I finally shared it with a group of colleagues. One of them, someone I thought had my back, said with a smile, "Wow, this is actually pretty good for someone like you." At first, I was stunned. On the surface, it seemed like a compliment, but those last words, "for someone like you," hit me like a ton of bricks. What did that even mean? Was I not expected to do good work? Here's the problem. These so-called compliments aren't meant to lift you up. They're a way to keep you in your place. It's a subtle power play where the person giving the compliment is asserting their superiority while making you doubt your own abilities. What they're really saying is, "I see you trying, but you'll never be as good as me." It's toxic, but it's disguised so well that you almost don't see the harm in it. Let's face it, people who give backhanded compliments are often insecure themselves. They see your strengths and potential, and it intimidates them. So, they throw in these little digs to keep you questioning yourself, making sure you don't surpass them. It's like they're giving you a pat on the back with one hand while holding you down with the other. And here's where it gets even more complicated. We've all done this at some point, not always on purpose, but we've allowed our own insecurities to slip into a compliment that serves to remind someone of their place. But here's the important lesson. You don't have to accept these disguised jabs. You have the power to recognize them for what they are, a reflection of their own insecurities, not a measure of your worth. When someone says, "You're smarter than you look," or "This is good considering you're new at this," don't just take it. Call them out on it, even if it feels awkward. Because if you don't speak up, you allow others to control how you view yourself, and that's a power you should never give away. Over time, I learned to recognize these backhanded compliments for what they truly are, reflections of someone else's insecurities. When you see them this way, they lose their sting. Instead of taking it personally, you can almost laugh it off, because their words reveal more about them than about you. Now, when I receive a backhanded compliment, I don't just let it pass. I'll respond with something like, "Thanks, but what do you mean by that?" This forces them to face the insult hidden in their words, and it often catches them off guard. They suddenly realize you're not falling for their game, and it's incredible how quickly their attitude shifts. The key takeaway: don't let anyone's subtle negativity define who you are. Whether it's a well-meaning friend, a jealous colleague, or even a family member, your worth is never up for debate. Compliments should elevate you, not bring you down. If their words make you doubt yourself, it's time to question their intentions. Life's too short to waste on people who can't celebrate your successes genuinely. Surround yourself with those who see your value and are willing to remind you of it without hidden agendas. 3. They subtly exclude you from plans. It's often the small things that hurt the most, like realizing your so-called friends accidentally forgot to invite you to an event, dinner, or weekend getaway. They'll say it was an oversight, a last-minute thing, or worse, assume you were too busy anyway. But let's be real, these aren't accidents. This is a form of social exclusion, and it's a clear sign that you're not as valued as you think. I've been there too many times. I remember checking my phone one weekend and seeing pictures of friends enjoying an event I would have loved to attend. The kicker? Not a single person mentioned it to me beforehand. When I brought it up later, they had all kinds of excuses. "We thought you were busy," or "it was a last-minute plan." But deep down, I knew the truth. If they really wanted me there, they would have made sure I knew about it. Here's where it gets tricky. This type of exclusion isn't just thoughtless. It's intentional. It's a way of sending a message without saying anything directly. They don't want you there, but don't have the courage to say it. Instead, they hope you'll quietly fade out of the group without making a fuss. It's passive-aggressive and cowardly, but unfortunately, it's also all too common. People rarely talk about this because it's easier to pretend it's not happening. It's easier to convince yourself it was just a mistake, rather than face the painful reality that you're being pushed out. But here's the thing. If you keep accepting these excuses, you're giving them the power to continue excluding you. You're letting them decide your place in their lives, rather than taking control of your own story. I had to learn this the hard way. For a while I kept quiet, hoping I'd be included next time. But then I realized that by staying silent, I was allowing myself to be treated as an afterthought. So I did something bold. I began confronting them about it. I'd ask, "Hey, I saw you all went out last weekend. Why didn't anyone invite me?" It wasn't easy, and it definitely created some tension, but it forced them to face their behavior. And the result? The dynamics shifted. Some became defensive, while others tried to make amends. But the message was clear. I wasn't going to let them exclude me without standing up for myself. Here's the important lesson. If people truly value you, they'll make the effort to include you, no matter how last-minute the plans may be. If they don't, then it's time to reassess the worth of those relationships. You deserve to be surrounded by people who don't make you feel like you're always chasing their approval or attention. Real friends don't forget to invite you. They make sure you're there because they genuinely enjoy your company. So, if you find yourself being subtly excluded from plans, don't just let it slide. Confront the issue. Ask the tough questions and be ready for answers, even if they're not what you want to hear. Because in the end, it's better to know where you stand than to keep wondering why you keep getting left out. And remember, you're not a backup option. You're a priority. Surround yourself with people who treat you as one. 4. They're busy, but only when it's you. We've all heard the excuse, "I'm so busy these days, sorry I can't hang out." It's the perfect excuse. Who isn't busy? But what happens when a pattern emerges? They're always free for others, posting pictures from outings, catching up with mutual friends. Yet when it's your turn, they're suddenly swamped. Here's the reality. They're not too busy. They're just too busy for you. I've experienced this frustration more than I care to admit. I remember reaching out to a close friend, trying to set up time to catch up. Every time I suggested something, they had an excuse. "I'm working late. I've got too much on my plate. Maybe next week." Meanwhile, I'd see them out with others, having a blast, always managing to find time for everyone but me. It took me a while to catch on, but the message became undeniable. I wasn't a priority in their life anymore. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. We've been conditioned to accept busy as a reasonable excuse for being left out. But the truth is, people make time for what or who they care about. If they're always too busy for you, it's not about their schedule, it's about their priorities. And that's a hard truth to swallow, because it forces you to face the possibility that you might not be as important to them as they are to you. The harsh truth is that busy is often just a polite way of saying, "I don't want to spend time with you." It's easier for them to blame it on their schedule than to admit they're choosing not to include you in their life. It's a passive-aggressive way of keeping you at a distance without confronting the reality of the situation. They want to keep you on standby, just in case, without actually investing in the relationship. I've been on both sides of this, sometimes making excuses because I didn't know how to tell someone I'd outgrown the friendship. But being on the receiving end taught me a powerful lesson. It's always better to be honest, even if it's uncomfortable, than to string someone along with excuses. When I finally confronted my friend about constantly being too busy, the conversation was uncomfortable, but it was essential. It gave me the clarity I needed to move forward and invest my time and energy into relationships where I was truly valued. The underlying message here is that your time and energy are valuable. Don't waste them on people who make no effort to prioritize you. If someone is always too busy for you, it's time to reassess the relationship. You deserve to be surrounded by people who are genuinely excited to spend time with you, who make an effort to include you, not just when it suits them, but because they truly enjoy your company. It's important to recognize that people change, and so do relationships. Sometimes we hold on to people out of habit, nostalgia, or the fear of being alone, even when they have clearly moved on. But there's strength in letting go and acknowledging that you deserve more than someone's leftover time. It's not about being demanding or needy. It's about valuing yourself enough to walk away from those who don't value you. 5. They avoid physical contact like the plague. Let's address the elephant in the room, physical contact, or rather, the lack of it. We're not just talking about romantic relationships here. Physical contact is a fundamental human interaction, a way of connecting and building trust. So, what does it mean when someone goes out of their way to avoid even the simplest touch? The answer isn't pleasant. They are sending a clear signal that they are uncomfortable around you, and it's important to pay attention. I once had a colleague who would recoil whenever I tried to initiate a handshake or offer a friendly pat on the back. Initially, I thought I was imagining things, but I soon realized it wasn't just me. They were warm and tactile with everyone else, but with me, it felt like I had the plague. Eventually, I came to realize that their avoidance of physical contact wasn't just a quirk, it was a deliberate effort to keep a distance. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Physical contact is an essential part of human connection. When someone consistently avoids it, they are communicating a lack of comfort or connection. Sure, some people aren't touchy-feely, and that's fine. But when it's selective, when they're happy to hug others but stiffen up around you, it's a red flag that something isn't right. They may not explicitly dislike you, but their body language says otherwise. We've all been there, both on the giving and receiving end. Maybe you've avoided a handshake or pulled back when someone got too close because you weren't feeling the vibe. Or maybe you've been left wondering why someone always seems to flinch when you're around. It's awkward, uncomfortable, and often a sign that the relationship isn't as strong as you thought. But here's the deeper truth. Physical contact is how we express trust, warmth, and empathy. When someone avoids it with you, they are not just avoiding touch, they're avoiding intimacy, vulnerability, and closeness. They are keeping you at arm's length, both literally and figuratively. This is a clear indication that something is off in the relationship. I've learned to pay attention to these subtle signs, even when it's difficult to accept what they mean. There was a time when I dismissed the signs, convincing myself that someone's reluctance to get close was simply a personality trait. However, the more I reflected on it, the more I realized that it was about me and the nature of our relationship. When I finally addressed the issue, it led to some tough conversations, and in some cases, the end of the relationship. But ultimately, it freed me from the frustration of wondering why things felt off. The deep message: don't ignore the signs. When someone avoids physical contact with you, it's more than just a preference. It's a reflection of their comfort level and connection with you. If you start noticing this pattern, don't hesitate to bring it up. It could lead to a deeper understanding or reveal that the relationship isn't as strong as you thought. In either case, it's better to face the truth than to live in denial. You deserve relationships where physical contact isn't something to be avoided, but something that happens naturally and comfortably. Whether it's a friendly hug, a handshake, or simply sitting close without feeling awkward, these small gestures are crucial for building trust and connection. If someone consistently avoids them, it's a sign that something is wrong. Don't be afraid to ask the difficult questions, and if necessary, make tough decisions. Life is too short to be surrounded by people who keep you at a distance, both literally and figuratively. 6. They disappear when you need support. Let's face it, nothing truly reveals the nature of a relationship like a crisis. When times get tough, you find out who your real friends are. So, what does it say about someone when they disappear just when you need them most? It's not just flakiness. It's a glaring sign that they're not as invested in you as you might have thought. I learned this the hard way during a particularly challenging time in my life. I was dealing with a major personal issue that deeply affected me. Naturally, I turned to the people I considered close friends, hoping for some support, even if it was just a simple text or call. But instead, I got silence. The people I thought would be there for me suddenly had every excuse in the book. I'm swamped at work. Sorry, I'm really busy right now. I'll check in later. Spoiler alert, they never did. Here's the controversial part. Many people love to say they'll always be there for you, but when the going gets tough, they're only around for the good times. They'll celebrate with you, enjoy the highs, and laugh with you. But when things get serious, they vanish. It's easier for them to ghost you than to face your pain or discomfort. The reality is, they don't care enough to be there when it matters. Let's be honest, true support isn't about convenience. It's about being there when it's hard, when it's uncomfortable, and when you'd rather not. The people who disappear when you need them most aren't just inconsiderate. They're showing you exactly where you stand in their life. They're saying, without words, your problems aren't worth my time. I remember feeling completely heartbroken when I realized that the people I had been there for, during their breakups, family struggles, and career setbacks, couldn't be bothered to return the favor. It was a painful wake-up call, but also a valuable lesson. Nothing reveals the true nature of a relationship like a crisis. When things get tough, you find out who your real friends are. So what does it say about someone when they vanish the moment you need them most? It's not just a sign of flakiness, it's a neon warning that they're not as invested in you as you might have thought. I learned this the hard way during a particularly rough patch in my life. I was facing a major personal issue that really shook me to my core. Naturally, I turned to the people I considered close friends, expecting some level of support, even if it was just a text or a quick call. But guess what? Crickets. The people I thought would be there for me suddenly had every excuse in the book. I'm so swamped at work. Sorry, I'm really busy right now. I'll check in with you later. Spoiler alert, they never did. The controversial truth. People love to talk about how they'll always be there for you, but when push comes to shove, many of them are only around for the good times. They'll party with you, laugh with you, and enjoy the high points of your life. But the minute things get real, they're nowhere to be found. It's easier for them to ghost you than to deal with your pain or discomfort. Deep down, they don't care enough to be there when it counts. True support isn't about convenience. It's about being there when it's hard, when it's uncomfortable, and when it's the last thing you want to do. The people who disappear when you need them most aren't just being inconsiderate. They're showing you exactly where you stand in their life. They're saying, without words, your problems aren't worth my time. My wake-up call. I remember feeling absolutely gutted when I realized that the people I'd been there for in the past, during their breakups, family dramas, and career setbacks, couldn't be bothered to return the favor. It was a wake-up call, and not a pleasant one, but it was also a lesson I needed to learn. Not everyone who smiles in your face is truly in your corner. The deep message: support is the foundation of any meaningful relationship. It's easy to be around when everything's going well, But the real test of a relationship is how people respond when things fall apart. If someone disappears the moment you need them, they're not just failing you, they're showing you that they were never really there in the first place. Don't let their absence make you bitter. Let it make you better. Use it as a filter to sift out the people who don't deserve a place in your life. The ones who stick around, check in and show up, even when it's inconvenient, those are the people who truly matter. These are the relationships you should nurture and cherish. Life is too short to invest in fair-weather friends. Surround yourself with people who will stand by you in the storm, not just bask in the sunshine. When you find those rare individuals who stick around when the chips are down, you've found something worth holding on to. And as for those who disappear, let them go. They've already shown you their true colors. 7. They gossip about you behind your back. Gossip is the social poison that spreads faster than wildfire and can burn down relationships in an instant. The thing about gossip is that it's never as innocent as people often make it out to be. When someone you consider a friend talks behind your back, they aren't just sharing a harmless story. They're actively sabotaging your trust, your reputation, and your relationship. Let's be real. When someone gossips about you, it's a clear sign that they don't respect you, no matter how friendly they act in person. I've been the subject of gossip before, and let me tell you, it's one of the most gut-wrenching experiences. There was a time when I confided in someone I thought was a close friend about a personal issue. I trusted them to keep it between us, to unload some of the weight I was carrying. But within days, details of that conversation started circulating, twisted and exaggerated. It was like a game of telephone, but instead of the message getting lost, it was being weaponized against me. The person I trusted turned my vulnerability into entertainment for others. People who gossip about you aren't just venting or sharing concerns. They're playing a power game. Gossip is a way for them to elevate themselves while putting you down, all without having to confront you directly. It's cowardly, manipulative, and toxic. They're not just damaging your reputation, they're damaging the very foundation of trust that any real relationship is built on. Let's get one thing straight. People who gossip about others to you will gossip about you to others. It's a pattern, not a one-time thing. I've seen it happen too many times to count. Someone who loves to spill the tea on everyone else will suddenly go quiet when they're around you. Guess what? They're probably spilling your tea when you're not around. Gossip is the worst kind of betrayal because it's done in the shadows without giving you the chance to defend yourself or even know what's being said. I remember confronting the friend who gossiped about me, expecting some sort of apology or at least an explanation. Instead, they brushed it off, acting like it was no big deal, just a bit of harmless talk. But here's the truth. Gossip is never harmless. It's a betrayal, plain and simple, and it says far more about the person spreading it than it does about the person it's about. In the end, it's crucial to recognize the red flags in your relationships. Whether it's people disappearing when you need them most or gossiping behind your back, these actions are clear signs that something isn't right. Confronting these issues, although uncomfortable, will help you focus on the relationships that truly deserve your time and energy. Have you ever been stopped by someone who just couldn't believe your age? Maybe they thought you were years, if not a decade, younger than you actually are. At first, it might seem like just a compliment. But what if I told you that looking younger than your age isn't just about good genes or skin care? It's a sign, an indicator of something much deeper, something hidden within your psychology, your mindset, and even your life choices. People who look younger often share distinct psychological traits, and today I'm about to reveal what they are. If you've ever been told you don't look your age, pay close attention because this might explain why. Before we begin, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe because I'll be sharing more eye-opening content like this and you don't want to miss out. 1. You have an unbreakable spirit. Have you ever noticed how some people go through the worst storms in life, yet still manage to look untouched by time? They face heartbreak, betrayals, financial struggles, and personal losses. But when you look at them, you'd never guess the battles they've fought. Their secret, an unbreakable spirit. Your mind controls your body more than you think. The weight of stress, anxiety, and emotional burdens doesn't just exist in your thoughts. It carves itself into your skin, your posture, and even the way you carry yourself. People who seem to defy aging are not just lucky. They have learned how to master their emotions instead of letting their emotions master them. They understand one of life's most brutal truths. Stress is a silent killer. And it doesn't just take away your peace, it takes away your youth. Look at those who age prematurely. More often than not, they are people who have allowed stress to consume them. They dwell on their failures, hold on to grudges, and live in a constant state of worry. This mental state forces the body into survival mode, increasing cortisol levels, the stress hormone responsible for wrinkles, dull skin, and overall exhaustion. It doesn't just make you look older, it makes you feel older too. But then there are those who refuse to let stress dictate their lives. No matter what happens, they get back up. They take the blows, but they don't let the bruises remain. They have this deep-rooted resilience, a kind of mental toughness that keeps them from drowning in negativity. And guess what? Their faces reflect that strength. Their skin remains vibrant, their eyes stay full of life, and their presence radiates energy. If you've ever been told that you look younger than your age, ask yourself, are you someone who keeps moving forward despite hardships? Do you laugh in the face of adversity instead of letting it break you? If so, you may have cracked the ultimate secret to agelessness, not just in appearance, but in spirit. And if you haven't yet mastered this, the best time to start is now. Let go of what you cannot control. Find strength in your struggles. Refuse to be defeated, because while life will try to wear you down, only you have the power to decide whether it leaves a mark on your soul or your face. 2. You embrace change instead of fearing it. Have you ever met someone who, despite their age, has this unstoppable energy, the kind that makes you question if time even affects them? They move through life with excitement, curiosity, and openness that seems almost childlike. These are the people who have discovered the ultimate key to staying young, embracing change instead of fearing it. Stubbornness is one of the fastest ways to age, mentally, emotionally, and physically. When people resist change, they trap themselves in cycles of stress, frustration, and stagnation. Their minds grow rigid, their habits repetitive, and their bodies begin to reflect the weight of their unwillingness to adapt. This resistance doesn't just affect their mood, it manifests in their posture, their expressions, and even the way they carry themselves. You've probably seen it. The frown lines, the stiffness, the energy of someone who is simply existing rather than truly living. Now think about those who seem ageless, even in their 50s, 60s, or beyond. They are the ones who don't let time define them. Instead of clinging to the past, they welcome new experiences. Instead of saying, "I'm too old for this," they say, Why not? They are lifelong learners, willing to grow, evolve, and try things outside of their comfort zone. This flexibility isn't just good for the soul, it's a powerful anti-aging weapon. Science backs this up. People who constantly learn new skills, explore different ideas, and remain socially and intellectually engaged maintain stronger brain function and healthier bodies. Their minds stay sharp and their spirits remain lively, which naturally reflects in their appearance. There's a certain glow to someone who embraces life with open arms. Their faces don't carry the heaviness of regret or the stiffness of resistance. Instead, they radiate a youthful energy that is undeniable. So if you ever wonder why some people look much older than they are, while others seem to defy time, look at their attitude toward change. Those who resist it age faster, both inside and out. But those who flow with life, who see every twist and turn as an adventure, remain youthful not just in looks, but in spirit. The truth is, aging isn't just about the passing of years. It's about how you respond to the changes that come with them. If you refuse to evolve, you will feel old long before your time. But if you embrace the unknown, stay curious, and never let yourself grow mentally stiff, you will carry an energy that makes people wonder, what's your secret? 3. Your mind is always curious. Have you ever met someone whose energy is so vibrant, so alive, that they seem untouched by time? They could be 40, 50, or even 60, yet they have the spark of someone half their age. What's their secret? It's not just good genetics or a fancy skincare routine. It's their curiosity. Most people assume that youth is only about how you look, but that's a lie. True youth starts in the mind. The moment you stop being curious, stop asking questions, stop learning, you start aging in ways that no anti-aging cream can fix. A dull mind leads to a dull body. People who let life become repetitive, who settle into routines without ever exploring new things, slowly lose the energy that once made them shine. You can see it in their posture, in their tired eyes, in the way they speak. They aren't living, they're simply existing. Now contrast that with someone who is endlessly curious. These are the people who never stop learning, who always want to know more about the world, about people, about themselves. They pick up new hobbies, ask deep questions, challenge their own thoughts, and see life as an adventure rather than a burden. Their minds stay sharp, and as a result, their bodies follow. Science backs this up. Mental stimulation keeps the brain active, reducing cognitive decline and even slowing down the aging process. But curiosity does more than just keep your mind fresh. It changes your entire energy. Have you ever noticed that people with youthful curiosity have a certain glow? Their eyes are brighter, their expressions are more animated, and they carry an aura of excitement. They don't see life as something that's slipping away. They see it as something to keep discovering. And that mentality alone reflects in their physical appearance. So if people often tell you that you look younger than your age, take a moment to think. Are you someone who is always curious? Do you find joy in learning new things? Do you challenge yourself to grow instead of just going through the motions? If the answer is yes, then you've unlocked one of the most powerful secrets to staying young. Because the truth is, youth isn't just about the years you've lived. It's about the fire in your mind. Keep that fire alive, and time will never truly catch up with you. 4. You express your emotions freely. Have you ever noticed how some people carry the weight of the world on their faces? Their eyes seem tired, their expressions hardened, and their presence feels heavy, as if life itself has worn them down. Now compare them to those who look younger than their age. Their faces are lighter, their eyes brighter, and there's a softness in the way they carry themselves. What's the difference? Emotional expression. Emotions are not meant to be locked away. When you suppress your feelings, whether it's sadness, anger, frustration, or even joy, you create an inner tension that your body absorbs. It builds up like poison, increasing stress levels, tightening your muscles, and manifesting as deep lines on your face. Years of unexpressed emotions don't just weigh down your mind, they physically alter your appearance. Think about someone who holds in their emotions all the time. They keep a straight face, never allowing themselves to fully laugh, cry, or speak their truth. Over time, this emotional suppression takes a toll. Stress hormones like cortisol rise, accelerating aging by damaging skin elasticity, draining energy, and even weakening the immune system. These are the people who look older than they are, not because of genetics, but because of the emotional weight they refuse to release. Now look at those who age gracefully, who look younger than their years. What do they have in common? They allow themselves to feel. When they're happy, they don't hold back their laughter. When they're sad, they don't pretend to be fine. They cry, they talk, they release. They are emotionally honest, and this honesty keeps them youthful. Their faces don't carry the tension of years of unspoken words or suppressed pain. Instead, they remain expressive, vibrant, and full of life. It's no surprise that cultures that encourage open emotional expression tend to have people who appear more youthful and energetic. Emotional release is a natural anti-aging tool, one that no expensive product can replace. Studies show that people who openly express emotions tend to have lower levels of stress and better overall health, both physically and mentally. So, if you've ever been told that you look younger than your age, it might not just be because of good skincare or genetics. It could be because you don't let emotions rot inside you. You speak, you laugh, you cry, and you release. And in doing so, you free yourself not just mentally but physically. Because the truth is, the face is a reflection of the soul, and those who let their emotions flow freely, they stay young, not just in appearance, but in spirit. 5. You surround yourself with positive energy. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt drained, as if the air itself was heavy? Or spent time with someone who, after just a few minutes, left you feeling exhausted? That's because energy is contagious, whether it's positive or negative, and if you constantly expose yourself to negativity, it doesn't just affect your mind, it slowly wears down your body, making you age faster. The truth is, the people you surround yourself with have a direct impact on your youthfulness. If you're constantly around individuals who complain, criticize, or drain your energy with their pessimism, it physically takes a toll on you. Stress levels rise, your body tenses up, and over time you start carrying that negativity in your posture, your face, and even your health. You see it in people who seem far older than their actual age. Tired eyes, deep frown lines, and an overall heaviness in their presence. But then there are those who look effortlessly young, no matter their age. They have a radiance, a glow, an energy that feels alive. What's their secret? They carefully choose their environment. They spend time with people who lift them up, who inspire them, who bring laughter instead of complaints. They know that negative energy is a slow poison, and they refuse to let it infect their lives. Science backs this up. Studies show that positive social interactions reduce stress hormones and even slow down the aging process at a cellular level. Laughter, genuine connection, and uplifting conversations don't just make you feel better, they keep your body younger. Ever wonder why some people seem to glow with youth despite their years? It's because they surround themselves with people who fill them with life, not drain it from them. Look around you. Are the people in your life adding to your energy or taking from it? If you find yourself constantly surrounded by negativity, it might be affecting you in ways you don't even realize. But the good news is, you have the power to change it. Choose positivity, and your body will thank you for it. Because at the end of the day, youth isn't just about how you look. It's about the energy you carry. And that energy is shaped by the people you allow into your world. So if you've been told that you look younger than your age, it might not just be luck. It could be a sign that you've surrounded yourself with the kind of energy that keeps you truly alive. 6. You live with passion and purpose. Have you ever looked at someone and thought they look tired of life? Their face lacks expression, their posture is heavy, and their energy feels drained, as if they're just going through the motions, waiting for time to pass. Now contrast that with someone who radiates life, someone who speaks with excitement, whose eyes light up when they talk about their dreams, whose presence feels electric. The difference? Passion, purpose, a reason to wake up every morning. People who lack passion often appear older than their years. When life feels empty, when there's nothing exciting on the horizon, it shows. The human body reacts to emotional stagnation just as much as it reacts to physical inactivity. When you're disconnected from your purpose, your mind becomes dull, your spirit dims, and your body follows. The result? A face that looks tired, aged, and uninspired. But then there are those who glow with youthful energy, no matter their age. They don't wake up dreading the day. They wake up driven, excited, ready to create, build, and experience. This passion fuels them from the inside, and it reflects outward. You can see it in their expressions, in the way they move, in the way they carry themselves, with enthusiasm and vitality. And the science backs it up. Studies show that having a sense of purpose reduces stress, lowers inflammation, and even extends lifespan. When you're actively pursuing something that excites you, whether it's a career, a hobby, or a personal mission, your brain produces more dopamine and serotonin, the very chemicals responsible for happiness and youthful energy. These chemicals keep your skin glowing, your body active, and your spirit alive. If you've been told you look younger than your age, it might not be just genetics. It could be because you have something that fuels your soul, something that gives you a reason to keep pushing forward with excitement. So ask yourself, are you just existing, or are you truly living? Because if you're lost in routine, uninspired and stagnant, it's not just your mind that suffers. Your body will show it too. But if you have passion, if you have a goal that ignites your spirit, you will carry an energy that defies age itself. Because in the end, youth isn't about how many years you've lived. It's about how alive you feel inside. And those who live with passion, they never truly grow old. 7. You let go of the past. Have you ever seen someone who carries the weight of their past on their face? Their eyes seem distant, their expression tired, as if they are trapped in memories they can't escape. The truth is, holding on to regret, resentment, or guilt doesn't just affect your mind, it physically changes you. It burdens your body, increases stress, and over time, it makes you age faster than you should. The past is heavy. Every unresolved conflict, every painful memory, every mistake you replay over and over again. It all takes a toll on your health, both mentally and physically. Stress hormones like cortisol rise when you dwell on things you can't change, and over time they lead to premature aging, wrinkles, and even illness. People who hold on to bitterness often develop a hardened, worn-out look, as if life itself has drained them. And in a way, it has. But then there are those who seem light, vibrant, and effortlessly young, no matter their age. What's their secret? They don't let the past define them. They've made peace with what's behind them. They understand that carrying old pain only hurts them, not the people who caused it. Instead of clinging to regret, they focus on the present. Instead of living in past mistakes, they choose growth, healing, and freedom. Science supports this. Studies have shown that people who practice forgiveness and mindfulness have lower levels of stress, better immune function, and even a longer lifespan. When you let go of grudges and regrets, your body follows suit. It releases tension, repairs itself, and allows you to maintain a youthful, radiant presence. If you've been told that you look younger than your age, it might not be just genetics. It could be because you refuse to let the past weigh you down. You've chosen to live in the moment, to move forward instead of looking back. And that mindset, it keeps you young inside and out. So ask yourself, what are you still holding on to? Is it anger, guilt, resentment? Whatever it is, it's not just hurting your soul, it's aging you. But the moment you decide to let go, to stop carrying what no longer serves you, you'll feel something incredible, lighter, freer, younger. Because in the end, the past is a burden, and those who release it, they carry a glow that time can't touch. So if you've ever wondered why you look younger than your age, now you know. It's not just about genetics, but about your mindset, your lifestyle, and your energy. And if you don't look younger yet, maybe it's time to adopt these powerful psychological habits. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content that reveals the hidden truths about life and psychology. Share this with someone who always gets mistaken for being younger. They might find it just as fascinating as you did. And now, tell me in the comments, what's the craziest age mistake someone has made about you? I'd love to hear your stories. Stay youthful, stay powerful, and I'll see you in the next video. Have you ever experienced a moment of such intense anger that you felt completely out of control? Perhaps when someone said something hurtful or acted in a way that deeply upset you. Have there been days when even a simple glance or a passing remark made it feel as though the entire world was against you? In today's rapidly moving and pressure-filled world, it's incredibly easy to become overwhelmed by negative emotions, from minor irritations to full-blown rage. But is there truly a way to remain steady in the midst of emotional chaos? Is it possible to live a life of calm and composure, untouched by the actions or words of others? Can we really protect our inner peace from external disturbances? Stoicism, an ancient yet deeply relevant school of philosophy, offers profound and enduring wisdom for this very challenge. Thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca endured unimaginable hardships, yet they managed to preserve a state of inner calm by embracing the principles of Stoic thought. Today, we'll delve into 7 practical approaches designed not just to help you manage your emotions, but to truly master them, to gain unwavering control over your inner world. What I'm about to share goes far beyond theoretical musings. These are timeless lessons drawn from the depths of Stoic philosophy, carefully transformed into practical insights that you can apply immediately. So I encourage you to stay with me throughout this journey, because even embracing just one of these approaches can lead to a powerful and immediate shift in your life. Let's begin by talking about the idea of embracing willingness in life. One of the foundational principles of Stoicism that leads to deep inner tranquility is the practice of fully accepting whatever life brings our way. Now, this doesn't mean we have to enjoy every situation or agree with everything that happens. Instead, it calls us to meet each circumstance with openness and a lack of resistance. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, encourages us to accept the things to which fate binds us and to love the people fate connects us with, but to do so wholeheartedly and sincerely. This type of acceptance is essential for breaking the cycle of anger and frustration. Picture yourself performing a mundane task like washing the dishes. If you do it begrudgingly, each plate becomes a source of resentment. But if you engage in the task with a willing spirit and a sense of gratitude, even this simple act becomes peaceful. Epictetus, in his discourses, teaches us not to wish for events to happen as we want them to, but to want them to happen as they do, because in doing so, life begins to flow more harmoniously. This is the essence of willingness, moving with the current of life rather than resisting it. Practically speaking, this mindset can shift how we respond to uncomfortable moments. Imagine being stuck in traffic. If you allow yourself to dwell in irritation over the delay, your frustration only grows. But if you view the situation as an opportunity to listen to an audiobook, a favorite podcast, or to simply reflect, you instantly take back control over your experience. When we begin to accept life as it is, stress loses its grip on us. A critical part of developing willingness is clarifying our purpose. Instead of chasing fleeting desires or short-term goals, we can focus on a higher vision, a guiding purpose that informs all our actions. Ask yourself, what is the life I am striving to build? What vision am I aligning with? Unlike personal ambitions that might bring momentary satisfaction, a true vision encompasses the entirety of your being. When you live with a grand, meaningful purpose, each action becomes voluntary. You understand that even the hard or unpleasant moments are contributing to something greater. You're no longer just reacting, you're choosing. Think about the difference between doing something out of obligation versus doing something from the heart. If you're meeting a deadline at work under pressure, the task can feel heavy. But when you volunteer to help someone or support a cause you believe in, even the most difficult tasks feel fulfilling. The action may be the same, but the intention transforms your experience. I choose to do this becomes your sanctuary. I have to do this becomes your torment. Try applying this perspective to your daily life. When someone says something offensive, you face a fork in the road. You can let that comment dictate your emotions and lash out in anger, or you can see it as a moment to practice acceptance and inner strength. Remind yourself, this person is acting according to their own character, but I choose not to let it disturb my own. Accepting life's circumstances as they unfold does not mean giving up on self-improvement or letting go of the drive to better your circumstances. Rather, it means recognizing that while some things are beyond your control, your response is always within your power. This understanding is incredibly freeing. It reduces stress and empowers you to focus your energy where it matters most. For instance, if you're criticized at work, you can take it as a personal attack, or you can see it as an opportunity for growth. Your peace of mind isn't determined by what happens to you, but by how you interpret and respond to it. Embracing willingness is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. Start small. Accept when you make a mistake. Welcome life's little challenges as opportunities to strengthen your character. Learn to greet inconveniences with calm and patience. As you gradually develop this mindset, you'll find that anger has less power over you. External circumstances won't shake you as easily. Instead, you'll discover a growing, quiet power within yourself, the kind of power that allows you to live life by your own design. Now let's talk about the second principle, the importance of stopping the habit of judging others. Have you ever paused to reflect on why it's so easy to feel annoyed, frustrated, or angry with the people around you? It often comes down to a simple truth. We are constantly judging others. Think about how many times a day you tell yourself that someone is rude, selfish, slow, or untrustworthy. These judgments don't just affect how we view others, they create emotional turmoil within us. From a Stoic perspective, letting go of judgment is one of the most effective ways to free ourselves from unnecessary emotional suffering. Humans naturally interpret the world through their own subjective lens. When someone acts in a way that doesn't align with our expectations, our instinct is to label them, to assign blame, fault, or flaw. Let's say someone is driving slowly in front of you. The first thought might be that they're being thoughtless or stupid. But what if they're a new driver? Or what if they're driving carefully because they have children in the car? The reality is that external events do not dictate our emotions. It's our interpretation that does. Judging others adds an unnecessary emotional burden. These judgments aren't just passing thoughts, they are seeds that grow into frustration, anger, and resentment. Take, for example, a coworker who often arrives late. If your judgment is that they're lazy or inconsiderate, your irritation will build with each passing day. But if you take a moment to consider that they might be caring for someone who's unwell or facing struggles you don't know about, your attitude softens. This shift in perspective doesn't mean you're excusing poor behavior. It means you're choosing not to let it rob you of your peace. You begin to see that judging others does more harm to you than to the person being judged. By releasing the need to label others, you unburden your mind and heart. When we stop judging, we open the door to greater compassion, not just for others, but for ourselves as well. Stoicism teaches us that we can't control other people's actions, but we can always choose how we respond. When we judge less and understand more, we create space for patience, empathy, and emotional resilience. This doesn't mean abandoning discernment or allowing others to walk over you. It means stepping back from the reflex to immediately categorize someone as good or bad based on a single action. People are complex, just like you. Everyone has struggles, insecurities, and reasons behind their behavior. Ultimately, letting go of judgment is about choosing peace over irritation. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional chains that come with trying to control or define others. When you stop judging, you stop absorbing unnecessary negativity. And in that space of neutrality, you find clarity, calm, and strength. Stay with me as we continue exploring more powerful Stoic practices that can transform not only your emotional world, but your entire life. These teachings aren't just about philosophy. They're about creating a life of stability, depth, and enduring inner peace. Stoicism doesn't instruct us to ignore our problems. It teaches us to see them with greater clarity and understanding. Marcus Aurelius wisely observed that we always possess the option of withholding our opinion. There is never a true necessity to become agitated or to disturb your inner peace over matters beyond your control. No one is entirely virtuous or completely flawed. People are a blend of actions, influenced heavily by their life experiences, surroundings, and level of awareness. Think back to a time when you didn't show up as your best self. Maybe you were exhausted, overwhelmed, or just having a particularly rough day. In the same way, others' actions are rarely a reflection of who they are at their core, but more often a response to the situations they're facing. In the right environment, even someone with many faults can demonstrate surprising kindness. On the flip side, even those who are usually composed and kind can falter under pressure. Consider this. You're at a restaurant and the server accidentally spills water across your table. Your immediate reaction might be irritation or anger. How careless! But if you take a moment to pause and reflect, considering the possibility that they might be having an exceptionally difficult day, your emotional response changes. You feel lighter. This is the quiet but profound power of releasing judgment. Not only does it lift the burden of discomfort from your shoulders, but it also deepens your empathy toward others. To be clear, letting go of judgment doesn't equate to justifying wrongdoing. It means choosing not to let the actions of others take control of your inner world. You can still recognize poor behavior and distinguish right from wrong without allowing negativity to poison your mind. As Marcus Aurelius also noted, the best form of revenge is to remain unlike the one who committed the harm. The most dignified and powerful response to being wronged isn't retaliation. It's maintaining your grace and self-control. So how do we put this principle of non-judgment into action? The first and most essential step is awareness. When you notice yourself beginning to form a judgment about someone, ask yourself honestly, is this thought necessary? Is it helping me in any meaningful way? Then try to shift your point of view. Put yourself in the other person's situation. What might they be going through that you don't see or understand? Remember, too, that the richness of life comes from diversity. The fact that someone behaves, thinks, or reacts differently than you doesn't automatically make them wrong. It simply makes them different. And not every difference needs to be analyzed or emotionally charged. Often, it's not worth your energy or your peace. Letting go of judgment is ultimately about freeing yourself from carrying unnecessary emotional burdens. It's about learning to release the weight of irritation and resentment. The next time someone gets under your skin, pause, breathe deeply, and ask yourself honestly, is this emotional reaction really worth it? You'll begin to notice that by choosing empathy and perspective over assumption and judgment, you not only become more compassionate toward others, but also extend greater kindness to yourself. In the end, ask yourself this fundamental question: do I want to cling to my anger, or do I want to live with freedom and peace? The answer lies within your control. When you release the habit of judging others, you naturally begin to loosen your grip on the desire to control. This opens your eyes to a powerful truth. Much of the tension and disappointment in life comes from our expectation that others should behave according to our preferences. But life doesn't function on our terms. People, with all their complexities and unique circumstances, act based on their own motivations, many of which we may never fully comprehend. This brings up a deeper question. Is control truly the path to peace? Or does peace arise when we let go of the need to control? This question strikes at the very heart of Stoic philosophy. Instead of expending energy trying to reshape what lies beyond our reach, we can choose to accept things as they are, and in doing so, free ourselves from much of life's unnecessary stress. You can't dictate the direction life takes, but you can always govern how you respond. Imagine you're driving during peak traffic hours. The roads are jammed, the horns are blaring, and you're about to be late. You feel frustration bubbling up. Why can't people drive better? Or, why is the traffic always like this? But the truth is, you can't alter how others drive or instantly clear the roads. What you can control, however, is your mindset. You can choose to become agitated, or you can take a breath and accept that this situation is simply outside your influence. Though it might seem straightforward, the act of letting go of control can radically transform your daily experience. Think of a mother who constantly worries about her child's academic performance. She wants the best and fears failure. But no matter how deeply she cares, she cannot take the exams for her child. Or picture an employee frustrated with their boss's decisions. No matter how much they disagree, they can't force their boss to think differently. Much of our emotional distress arises from pinning high hopes on things we can't control. When those expectations go unmet, disappointment and resentment naturally follow. I once knew a young entrepreneur who poured his soul into developing a new tech product. His vision was ambitious. He wanted to revolutionize an entire industry. But when he finally launched the product, the market response was lukewarm at best. He was crushed. He blamed the customers for failing to grasp its brilliance and suspected rivals were sabotaging him. This mindset kept him trapped in bitterness. During a conversation, I encouraged him to shift focus. Instead of brooding over what others weren't doing, what could he do differently? Slowly, he began to refine his approach, adjusted the product, and embraced the slow, often humbling journey of growth. By focusing only on what was within his control, he found new clarity, regained his creative spark, and eventually surpassed his earlier goals. This is the essence of Stoicism in practice, recognizing when you're placing energy into the unchangeable and choosing instead to focus on what you can influence. In moments of stress, ask yourself, is this within my control? Am I improving the situation by reacting this way, or am I making it worse? These aren't just philosophical questions, they're practical tools for emotional clarity. Letting go of control doesn't mean you give up or resign yourself to passivity. It means directing your energy wisely toward your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. Imagine rowing a small boat down a river. You can't stop the current, but you can learn to steer with precision, adjusting to the flow and moving forward with ease. A valuable Stoic practice for this mindset is premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. Each morning, spend a moment imagining potential setbacks, a delayed train, a cancelled meeting, a friend letting you down. By anticipating these possibilities, you make peace with them before they even occur. When they do, you'll find yourself far more prepared to accept them calmly. Letting go of control isn't a weakness. It's an extraordinary act of strength. It's a form of freedom. When you stop clinging to what you can't hold, you create space for peace, creativity, and inner power. Begin with small steps. Resist the urge to argue someone into agreeing with you. Stop replaying the past. Stop grasping for guarantees in life. Life is like a river, always flowing, often unpredictable. But when you learn to stop resisting and instead navigate with grace, you discover that peace isn't something you need to chase. It's something you create, moment by moment, choice by choice. When people don't act the way we expect them to, it's easy to feel upset or disappointed. But have you ever paused to wonder why we even expect perfection from others or the world around us? According to Stoic philosophy, this expectation of perfection is not only unrealistic, but also a major source of emotional suffering. The idea that everything should go according to our standards is an illusion, and by recognizing this, we begin to free ourselves from the negative emotions that arise when reality doesn't meet our demands. Reflect on your experiences. Have you ever been let down because a co-worker didn't do their part, causing setbacks in your own work? Or maybe you felt hurt when someone close to you didn't keep a promise or said something unkind. These situations are not rare, yet we often react with the assumption that people should be flawless. But is that a fair expectation? The Stoic philosopher Epictetus teaches that it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but rather our judgments about those events. Our anger and frustration don't come from what people do, but from how we choose to view their actions. The world is naturally messy, unpredictable, and flawed. It was never meant to function according to our preferences. Trying to mold it to our will only leads to suffering. Let's consider a specific case. Imagine you spent days preparing for a vital presentation. You gave it your all, but right before it began, the colleague in charge of the supporting materials made some critical mistakes or left out important content. The initial reaction might be overwhelming frustration. You might think, how could they be so careless after all my effort? But from a Stoic viewpoint, this reaction doesn't serve you. The mistake has already happened, and blaming someone else only increases your distress. A more empowering response would be to ask, what can I do right now to make the best of this situation? Accepting that people make mistakes allows you to stay calm and think clearly, which in turn helps you find better solutions. Stoicism teaches that our focus should remain on what we can control. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, advised that we begin each day by reminding ourselves we will likely encounter rudeness, ingratitude, arrogance, betrayal, hostility, and selfishness. These aren't exceptions to the rule, they are part of life. He explained that such behaviors stem from ignorance, from a lack of understanding about what is truly good or bad. By anticipating these imperfections, we mentally prepare ourselves to respond with patience and strength. This isn't about being negative, it's about being realistic and equipping ourselves emotionally to handle life's unpredictability. Embracing the world's imperfections can also change the way we handle everyday conflicts. When someone fails to keep a promise, rather than immediately feeling betrayed, you can remind yourself that everyone is fighting battles you can't see. If you're feeling misunderstood, resist the urge to become defensive. Instead, calmly try to clarify your thoughts. Perhaps the other person didn't mean to offend, but simply didn't grasp your perspective. If someone is rude or critical, ask yourself whether their words truly injure you or whether it's your own interpretation that's creating the pain. To accept imperfection doesn't mean we stop trying to grow or improve the world around us. On the contrary, this mindset liberates us. When we stop demanding that others meet our personal standards, we free ourselves from constant disappointment and can instead invest our energy in what truly matters. Take personal relationships, for example. We often expect our partner to understand us completely, to instinctively know our feelings and needs. But even the most loving person can't read your mind. When you stop blaming them for not meeting your unspoken expectations and instead ask yourself whether you could express your needs more clearly, you not only reduce frustration, but also strengthen your relationship through better communication. When we truly embrace imperfection, we begin to find beauty in flaws. The co-worker who forgets deadlines, the friend who lets you down, the stranger who speaks harshly. All of these become chances to practice compassion and resilience. Ask yourself, have I ever made mistakes? If you desire understanding and forgiveness from others, shouldn't you be willing to extend the same to them? This shift in thinking reminds us that every human being is flawed, just as we are, and most are doing the best they can with the circumstances they face. Seneca, another great Stoic thinker, said that true freedom belongs to the brave. Having the courage to face and accept imperfection is not only a sign of compassion, it is a key to inner peace. You don't need a perfect world to be happy. When you stop expecting perfection from people or from life, you take a massive weight off your shoulders. Marcus Aurelius noted that your life's happiness depends on the quality of your thoughts. By training your mind to accept life as it is, not as you wish it to be, you begin to find peace amidst the chaos. This approach doesn't mean settling for less or tolerating harmful behavior. Rather, it's about mastering the art of living, one based on clarity, patience, and wisdom. As we start to accept the world's flaws, we arrive at a deeper realization. The way we feel about life's events is not dictated by the events themselves, but by our internal responses. This leads us to an even more personal challenge, learning to take responsibility for our emotions. The outside world is full of disorder, and people will often fail to meet our expectations. Things will rarely go exactly as we plan, but must these things shake us to our core? Accepting life's external imperfections is one part of the equation. The more difficult and more rewarding part is learning to regulate how we respond emotionally to what happens around us. This brings up a vital question. Who really controls your feelings, you or the circumstances you encounter? Stoic philosophy urges us to confront this truth head-on. Picture yourself standing in a crowded supermarket line on a hectic weekend. The place is buzzing with noise and stress. Suddenly, someone cuts in front of you without saying a word. No apology, no acknowledgement. Almost immediately, you feel a surge of irritation. You might think, how rude. The impulse to speak up angrily or to stew in frustration is strong. But here's where you can take a pause and reflect. Is this person's inconsiderate action really worth disrupting your peace? They may have acted poorly, but your emotions are still your responsibility. Why should you allow their behavior to take charge of how you feel? If you choose calmness, you'll notice something powerful. The irritation begins to melt away. That person may continue without ever realizing what they did, but their behavior no longer has any control over your mood. The cue may take a few minutes longer, but your inner stability remains untouched. What could have been a spark for hours of negativity turns into just another moment in the day, easily forgotten. Every day, we unknowingly give others control over our emotions. A harsh comment, a dismissive look, or a forgotten favor can make us feel hurt or angry. But why do we give other people such power over our emotional state? Marcus Aurelius, emperor and philosopher, reminded us that we have complete control over our minds, even if we can't control outside events. In that control lies our strength. His insight reveals a timeless truth. While you can't determine how others behave, you always have the power to choose how you respond. Think back to a time when you were unjustly criticized, maybe at work or by someone close to you. The natural reaction might have been anger, maybe even a desire to defend yourself. But imagine if, in that moment, you had reminded yourself that your value doesn't depend on one person's opinion, and that your peace of mind is not up for negotiation. That would change everything. How can we begin to develop this level of emotional mastery? The answer lies in simple but powerful practices. Start by learning to harness the power of the pause. When something upsets you, resist the immediate impulse to react. Instead, ask yourself a few key questions. Am I overreacting? Or, is this moment really worth disturbing my peace? This brief pause, though seemingly small, creates a vital gap between the trigger and your response. In that space, you gain the ability to make a conscious choice, to choose calm over chaos, wisdom over impulse. Another deeply effective approach, one rooted in ancient Stoic tradition, is to keep a daily journal of your emotions. Each evening, take a few quiet moments to reflect. Ask yourself, what stirred my emotions today? What situations challenged my inner balance? How did I respond, and could I have chosen a wiser response? This daily practice is more than just writing. It's a mirror into your emotional life. Over time, it reveals patterns, moments where you consistently lose your composure, and gives you the clarity and discipline to change your reactions. Slowly but surely, this builds a resilient mindset. Owning your emotions is the cornerstone of a more peaceful life. The truth is, no one can truly make you angry or upset unless you give them that power. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius captured this timeless wisdom when he wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." These words are not just theory, they are a call to action. They remind us that emotions, while powerful, are our possession. They are not the result of what someone else says or does, but of how we interpret and internalize the situation. Your peace of mind is your responsibility. When you learn to protect it, fiercely but calmly, you will find that very little in this world can truly disturb your inner spirit. So ask yourself, does this way of thinking resonate with you? If it does, take a moment to like this message and share your own thoughts in the comments. I'd truly love to hear your personal stories and reflections. And if you see things differently, I welcome your perspective as well. Your insights might ignite a meaningful and enriching conversation that helps us all grow. Let's keep growing together as we move forward into the next timeless principle. Lesson number 6. Practice non-reaction. In life, unexpected moments often catch us by surprise. A colleague might publicly criticize you during a meeting, leaving you stunned and embarrassed. A stranger may rudely cut in front of you in a line you've been patiently standing in. Or someone might throw a sharp and careless remark your way, leaving you feeling offended or even angry. These types of encounters, though they may seem small, can easily shake your mood and stir up feelings of resentment and frustration. But is there a better way to handle such moments? Is there a way to remain grounded and composed, even when others act out of line? The answer lies in mastering the ancient yet powerful art of non-reaction. Epictetus, one of the great voices of Stoicism, once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This simple truth holds immense power. When you pause and reflect on it, you begin to see that your emotional state is not determined by other people's behavior, but by how you choose to perceive and respond to it. Take the earlier example of being criticized during a meeting. Your initial reaction might be to feel embarrassed or irritated, especially if the criticism is public and unexpected. You might feel the urge to immediately defend yourself or push back to protect your pride. But what if you paused instead? What if, in that brief space between stimulus and response, you asked yourself, why should I let this define my mood or my worth? That colleague's hasty or insensitive words don't actually diminish your capabilities. They only reflect their own mindset in that moment. By choosing not to react emotionally, you protect your peace, maintain your professionalism, and show strength, not weakness. Consider an alternative and more stoic approach. You smile calmly and respond, "Thank you for the feedback. I'll address that after I finish presenting my ideas." With that single response, you seize control of the situation. The colleague, expecting a defensive reaction, is instead met with grace and composure. And you, rather than being flustered or rattled, walk away from the meeting with confidence and inner calm. This is the quiet power of non-reaction. Seneca, another towering figure of Stoicism, once advised, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." One of the most effective ways to master non-reaction is to give yourself time. When someone insults you or challenges you unfairly, resist the temptation to fire back immediately. Instead, take a breath. Reflect. If the conflict is over email, delay your reply by an hour or even a full day. Time grants you clarity, and clarity allows you to respond wisely rather than impulsively. Sometimes the strongest response is silence. Choosing not to retaliate doesn't mean you are weak. On the contrary, it means you are in full control. By refusing to be provoked, you remain the master of your inner state. There's a wise old saying, if a donkey kicks you and you kick back, you're both donkeys. This humorous yet profound parable teaches that reacting to negativity with more negativity only pulls you down to the same level. But when you rise above it, when you choose not to engage, you preserve your dignity and your peace. Picture a heated argument. Each word adds fuel to the fire, but then imagine one person stops speaking. They no longer react. Eventually the flames die down. Without fuel, anger cannot survive. The one who steps back from the conflict emerges not as weak, but as wise. They have chosen peace over pride and have protected their emotional balance. Take a moment to reflect. When was the last time you lost your temper over something that in hindsight was trivial? Was the anger worth it? If you could return to that moment, would you respond differently? These are powerful questions that invite us to become more self-aware and more in control of ourselves. Marcus Aurelius captured it best when he wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." This wisdom isn't abstract, it's practical. It means that even in the chaos of life, you always have the power to reclaim your peace. Mastering non-reaction doesn't mean you accept mistreatment or remain passive in the face of injustice. It means you become discerning, choosing where your energy is best spent and refusing to waste it on meaningless provocation. By embracing non-reaction, you gain emotional mastery. You protect your peace. You develop a strong, grounded soul that cannot be easily shaken by outside forces. Remind yourself every day, you cannot control the actions of others, but you can always control your response. In a world full of noise, calmness, silence, and an unshaken heart are your greatest strengths. This is the essence of Stoicism. Now, let's explore the next vital teaching. Lesson number 7. Find joy in selflessness. As we learn to stay calm and resist the urge to react hastily to the world around us, something remarkable begins to happen. our inner world begins to lighten. The burdens we once carried, anger, irritation, resentment, begin to lift. The things that used to trigger us now feel like minor ripples in the vast river of life. And in that space where bitterness used to reside, something new and beautiful takes root. A quiet, radiant joy. The joy of understanding, of compassion, and of giving without expectation. As our hearts soften and open, we make room for empathy and love. We begin to see that sometimes the most powerful way to protect our peace is to simply forgive, to let go, to offer kindness even when it is not returned. This is not weakness, it is transcendence. It is the mind finding clarity and the heart expanding to embrace others, even those who fall short. Marcus Aurelius beautifully reminds us in his writings that when we wake in the morning, we should take a moment to reflect on the privilege of being alive, to think, to experience joy, and to love. These are gifts that each new day provides. These simple yet profound words serve as a gentle reminder of the blessings life offers us. Every morning is an opportunity to love, to help others, and to live with a heart that is more open and receptive than it was the day before. Through the lens of Marcus Aurelius, forgiveness is not something distant or difficult to attain. It is simply an awareness that helping others brings joy, not just to them, but also to ourselves. I recall a story about a friend who worked in a highly stressful environment where he was frequently criticized, sometimes unfairly, by his colleagues. Instead of responding with anger or frustration, he chose to pause and reflect. He asked himself, "Are they going through something that I don't know about?" One day, he learned that a colleague who had been particularly critical was facing severe financial struggles. This revelation changed his entire perspective. Rather than retaliating, he chose to remain silent, to listen, and even offered help when he could. Over time, this approach not only improved their relationship, but also created a more positive and less tense atmosphere in the workplace. The same principle can be applied to our family lives. Minor disagreements in families often have the potential to escalate into major arguments. Imagine having a relative who constantly criticizes you, no matter what you do. Their words might hurt deeply, but it's important to remember that their criticism often comes from their own insecurities or struggles, rather than from a genuine desire to hurt you. When you understand this, it becomes much easier to disarm your own anger. Choosing forgiveness doesn't mean you accept wrongdoing. It means you choose not to let it dictate how you feel or control your emotional state. Anger frequently arises from our expectations of others. We expect people to behave according to our standards, but life is inherently imperfect. Everyone carries unseen burdens, and recognizing this fact allows us to let go of our expectations. Once these expectations fade, there is no longer a reason for anger to take root. The beauty of forgiveness is that it not only helps us move beyond anger, but also brings a deep sense of joy and relief. Reflect for a moment. Can you recall a time when you helped someone without expecting anything in return? How did it feel? It was likely a peaceful, fulfilling experience, one that brought a sense of purpose and joy that surpassed any material reward. Epictetus once wisely stated, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Practicing forgiveness is not only about giving to others, it is about reclaiming control over our own emotions. It is a form of spiritual freedom, a state of peace that cannot be bought with material wealth. Modern research supports this idea, People who regularly engage in acts of kindness and selflessness report higher levels of happiness. The teachings of Stoicism, which have endured for millennia, understood this truth deeply. Forgiveness is not merely a moral virtue, it is a path to a fuller, more meaningful life. Take a moment to ask yourself, can I see this situation from the other person's perspective? What might be driving their behavior? These questions, when practiced regularly, can help ease discomfort and foster understanding. When was the last time you helped someone without expecting anything in return? How did it make you feel? Reflecting on such moments can guide you toward practicing forgiveness daily. It doesn't have to be a complicated or difficult process. Sometimes, it's as simple as showing patience with someone's carelessness or refraining from trying to control things that are beyond your power. Instead of clinging to anger, focus on bettering yourself. When you extend kindness to someone, be grateful for the opportunity to do so and let go of any resentment. Seneca, in his timeless wisdom, beautifully said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. Wherever life places us, we have the chance to offer compassion. Choose forgiveness, not just for others, but also for yourself." Through giving and understanding, we build a better world for both ourselves and those around us. Forgiveness is not just an action. It is the key to living freely and peacefully. In conclusion, we have explored 7 methods for maintaining inner peace and remaining unaffected by the anger or annoyance caused by others. These principles are not merely philosophical musings. They are practical tools that guide us toward true inner freedom. By embracing acceptance, we learn to align with life itself. By letting go of judgment, we free ourselves from the burdens of bias. By relinquishing control and embracing imperfection, we take responsibility for our emotions and practice non-reactivity. All of these steps bring us closer to genuine self-mastery. Along this journey, finding joy in compassion becomes the greatest gift we can offer, not just to others, but to ourselves as well. If you found this video helpful and have not yet liked it, please take a moment to do so. Your support truly helps us spread these positive values. Don't hesitate to share this video with your loved ones, as even a small message can brighten someone's day. And be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more inspiring content coming your way. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.